You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. How's your week going? How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton, on this Thursday, 14 weeks from tonight? The NFL season will kick off in Los Angeles. That's right. That's right. 91 and 98 are the official numbers. We're not even getting into that whole week zero. That makes the number 86.
Start to see it.
Yep.
You can peer just
you can get
put
there
the hand
from here.
over the eyes, squint a little bit, and
That's
go.
Absolutely. That's right.
On the horizon, that looks like a football game.
Yep. It's now partly cloudy. Yep. Went from thunderstorms to cloudy to partly cloudy. You can see it from here. Listen, are you really surprised that the Lightning didn't play well last night?
No, we talked about it. Long layoff. They looked rusty.
Yeah. I mean, Vasilevsky literally didn't look as if he knew where he was in the crease in relationship to the net. I mean, 2 or 3 of those goals, he genuinely looked like, so that found the corner, huh? Wow. I got to work on these angles again. It's been a while. Strange game to see 6 go in the net against Tampa Bay.
Well, this is what was happening a month before the playoffs.
Oh, and game 1 against Toronto. Remember
Right.
the playoffs? It was like, hello, your defense of the cup is underway. Hello. So Rangers got a little something going on right now. And they're not the Florida Panthers, is what we saw last night.
Well, nobody really is, David.
And it's just getting worse. Every day it gets worse for them. Okay, you would think a little time, little distance, little space from that series would make life better. No, it's actually making it worse.
Making it worse.
Rangers scored as many goals in the second period last night as the Panthers did in the whole series. Yeah. So, but listen, you and I thought if the Rangers didn't win last night, this isn't a series.
No, we thought maybe this could be a 4 or 5 game series if the Rangers can't take care of game 1.
Right. I mean, come on. They've been playing every other day for a month. Lightning haven't played 9 days. And the Rangers are at home, where they had won 6 in a row. So,
younger team.
On a roll.
Full of you-know-what and vinegar last night.
Don't even realize where they are and what they're doing. Got the kid line playing out there like it's a early October exhibition season, for goodness sakes.
Boy, they're fun to watch.
They're pretty good. And you don't normally see something like this either. For those that haven't been following this closely, the Rangers have a line of 3 players that are all 23 and under, I believe. They're all first-round picks from recent years. One guy was drafted first overall. The other guy was drafted second overall. And the other guy was drafted like mid-first round. And the last 2 years, they've been kept on the roster, and they've not been good at all. I mean, like, it's like, should we trade some of these guys? I mean, are we sure these guys can play? Why don't we go trade them for a veteran that we know can play? And so they held on to him and held on to him and held on to him. And now literally in the playoffs, which none of them had ever played in before, they're living up to everything that they were supposed to be. I'm telling you, a month ago, they were not any good.
Well, and it's why right now the Rangers are a year ahead of schedule.
Yes.
Because part of why they didn't trade them and why they were brought up was to play them at this level and let them figure it out at the NHL level, as opposed to sending them down where they could be dominant, playing a first line, playing the AHL, and playing a role where they, if they got called up, wouldn't be playing. You know, that's the one thing people sometimes don't understand in hockey. When a third line guy goes down to the AAA club, he becomes a first line guy.
Right.
And when he comes back up, that's not the role that the coach needs him in.
Right.
He's not seeing that ice time. He's not seeing the power play. He might have to stop the other team's best center, whatever the case may be.
It's like, wait a minute, I didn't have any of this in Milwaukee.
But when you have speed, which they all can skate,
Yep.
speed kills in that game, and right now they're showing why.
But it's one game, and heck, I don't even know if the Lightning worked up a sweat last night. That's how out of it they were.
But the Rangers were done.
Oh, yeah. First
Down
round.
2-0, down 3-2, and a stupid penalties taken by a Pittsburgh Penguin forward.
They scored 5 seconds later on a power play, and it's game on ever since.
Ever since. I mean, that's the moment. A bad retaliatory penalty by the Penguins. You could circle that moment, and the Rangers from that point on have not looked back. We'll see what happens in this series. A lot of hockey left. They've got to beat the champions. Tampa looked terrible last night. I wouldn't be too worried if I'm a Bolts fan this morning.
No. In fact, I think I'd feel better losing this way, looking this badly, than if we had played pretty well and lost 3-2. Because I think the only thing that happened last night was the bear was awakened.
Yeah, and you might get a little better odds on game 2.
But it'll be a series now. And by series, I mean it'll go at least 5. Now, Rangers do something that hasn't been done to Tampa in 3 years. I mean, they're 17-0, right? Is it 17-0 or 18-0?
After losing a game?
After losing a game the last 2 playoff years. I mean, they've not lost 2 in a row in the playoffs since they got swept in 2019. Rangers win tomorrow night. Now all of a sudden you start thinking about, holy mackerel. But until then, okay, it's entertaining. It's good for ESPN. ESPN had another good night last night.
They've had a terrific couple of weeks, David.
And this stat's for Felipe. So good morning, Felipe, by the way. How are you? He's got a jacket on this morning. He has surrendered to the elements in this studio. He's not fighting it anymore. He's coming in, he looks like a reserve in soccer, doesn't he? He's got the windbreaker on the sidelines. And
if we could just get him a bad colored vest to put over that.
Bright green. Yep.
He looks like with the collar up and what have you, he's not coming in today. He knows it.
No, he's got the vest on. He's just going to run to the corner when someone scores a goal and jump on him.
Right. I mean, maybe there's a chance we get up like 4 or 5-0. Maybe they'll put me in, but no, I'm just here for decoration.
The whole game, I'm just on the sideline stretching my
right.
quads.
Making it look like you're a key player. Right. Any moment, Mom, I'll be in. Any moment. So, the 2 old guys here are talking about the NBA, and you stop paying attention because you think the 2 old guys don't know anything about the NBA. So
That's not true.
no, come on now. Listen. Just be honest. You can't lie at 6:09 in the morning.
Well, I follow the NBA more than you guys do.
You do. But sometimes you have an attitude. Isn't it fair to say, Mark? Sometimes he has an attitude when we start talking about the NBA that he looks at us and discuss, like, why are you 2 guys in your 50s even talking about the association?
There's no doubt.
Okay.
It's with disdain.
Yes. All right. As far as you guys know, the NBA ended with Michael Jordan.
Right.
Shut up already. So, and remember, we've been saying for the last couple of weeks, hey, the dream finals for the NBA and for the 4-letter network is Boston Golden State. And you're like, oh, I don't know, Luka and the Heat. And so the NBA yesterday released their 10 highest rated games of the year. I don't know if you saw it.
I know where you're going.
It was a very interesting phenomenon. Once again, their 10 highest rated NBA telecasts of the season. 5 of them involved the Golden State Warriors.
No.
And 5 of them involved, wait for it, the Boston Celtics. And none of the 10 were the Warriors playing the Celtics. Hence, the 2 best teams that the league and the 4-letter network could get in the finals are
Golden State and Boston.
There you go. So
I never said you were wrong.
yeah, actually.
No, I just said that I would prefer Mavs Heat.
Actually, you put it this way. You have a gift, and most 21-year-olds do. All right. Mark can speak of experience. He's the father of a 22-year-old.
3 now, but yes.
20, okay.
Still the same damn thing, David.
It's a gift.
Yes.
It's a gift. And we all had it, Felipe. Oh, please. And Miller and Moulton, who didn't know one another then, had it in spades. All right. It's a gift. You didn't say we were wrong. That's your claim. But let me tell you something. You didn't say we were right. All right.
That's a fact.
So that's all. So this will be a great finals for fans of the association. It's going to do really well, particularly if it can leave the Bay Area 1-1.
It's simple. When I hear something I don't want to hear, which is that, I put it to the side.
Well, not do you put it, see, putting it to the side is one thing. You dismiss it and say it's wrong.
They are my 2 least favorite teams in the league, possibly.
Wow. Who hates Golden State?
Apparently, Felipe.
Soy.
Now, I'll say this. I could see, was it 2 years, 3 years with Durant? It was 3, right? They
3.
went to the finals all 3, won the first 2. He got hurt. They lost the last one. I could see during those 3 years in which people were like, come on. They don't need Durant. This is ridiculous. But the before and after, I mean, it's Steph.
I'm interested in the finals, actually.
Well, I know you're interested. It's your favorite. I hope you're interested. It's your favorite sport.
No, but the matchup, because the Warriors have a chance to prove a lot with this championship, I think.
Really?
Yes. The only one that they won without Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were not playing.
They beat the Cavs in 2015, lost to them in 7 in 2016. Then KD joined the party, win, lost to the Raptors. So here it is, 6 out of 8. They're in the finals.
You know what? I'll be happy if they win one more. Go ahead, win one more. Then that's it. Just one more. You can have one more. That's okay.
I think Steph's like a teddy bear. I really do. I don't know how you don't like Steph. How do you not like Giannis? How do you not like Steph?
I don't know. But I can see where you can really not like, if you're an NBA fan, you can really not like Draymond.
Okay.
I think your hate for Draymond can supersede your love for Steph, and that's what I think part of the problem is. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Mark, we're playing golf.
Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com to sign up now.
I'd like to thank Budweiser, Twin Peaks, and Southwest Florida Golf Carts. Got some good stuff there, flgolfcarts.com.
Where are you going to go? floridasportsnetwork.com. Sign up for our tournament Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Your golf will include your foursome and a chance to have lunch and awards after.
Sign up at floridasportsnetwork.com.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
How about Pulisic last night? Going after the U.S. soccer fan, basically saying, hey, where the hell were you in Cincinnati?
Oh, did they
He
play?
said, appreciate the fans who were here, but where is everybody?
Who'd they play last night?
Morocco. Mo Egger takes to Twitter and says, hey, buddy, you guys were here 6 months ago. It was an exhibition. And I don't know if you noticed, but gas is $4.50 a gallon.
And it's in Cincinnati. Where are you going to go?
I went and bought my mom. My mom wanted me to go to Jimmy P's last night. I bought what used to be $39.99 a pound. I've not been to Jimmy P's in a while. It was $60 a pound.
Oh. Now, I do think some serious price gouging is starting to happen in which people are like, well, shit.
Well, I look at them. They're getting beef from Australia. It can't be any cheaper to bring that.
No.
Inflation is right through the roof right now.
It is.
Shit's expensive.
It is very expensive. Everything. And money is flying out of your wallet.
No, David did not go we. David went we referencing Tampa. Is what he was saying when he was talking about the way he said it was, and it wasn't in that regard.
Morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Hope your week's going okay.
Any of you appliance repair people?
Yeah. Or do you know an appliance repair person?
Just play better RCB. I don't think there's any line adjusting to do it. I mean, they were slow.
Yeah, sloppy. They blew assignments last night. Vasilevsky didn't play great. Remember, they lost game 1 5-0 to Toronto. Did you see what Michael did there? It was called a mid-range jump shot.
Oh, I thought you were going to say push-off.
Yes, but the game was on the line, and you know what he shot?
Oh, goodness gracious. Only shot 4 3-pointers a game back then. Stop it.
I don't know. Leigh did pretty well. People seem to like it. Yep, Arch, 9 days. We were pounding that point all day yesterday.
Refrigerator, Adam, worse than the washing machine. The refrigerator.
10 seconds.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
It's 21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll talk conference finals in hockey, NBA finals with guests in our 8 o'clock hour. Thanks so much for being with us, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. So it looks as if the golf world's going to go all scorched earth here.
All the players came out and weren't very happy with DJ going to the LIV tour, all slamming him.
Right. Although Rory did say, I really don't think we should, he didn't use this phrase, but he basically said, I don't think we should excommunicate. He said, I got some really good friends who have decided they're going to play here, and I get it. I do. It's not for me. I'm not interested. But, I understand why some people would do this. And I don't think that we as a tour, and he is on their advisory board or players advisory board. And he said, I really don't think that we should drop the hammer. An hour later, the commissioner Monahan's like, yeah, it's either or. You can't do both. And the sponsors now have abandoned DJ and Graham McDowell and Westwood. Well,
RBC, the Royal Bank of Canada, was DJ's sponsor. He is playing in the tournament that's across from the Canadian Open. It is probably the easiest way to ever lose a sponsor.
Right.
The Royal Bank of Canada would like you to play in the Canadian Open.
That would seem to be a prerequisite for the sponsorship continuing. At the very least, you have to take the week off, right? Stay home with Paulina.
Take another vacation with her. The last one looked like it was fantastic.
Did you hear the report, though, that came out around dinner time last night? Because, okay, DJ's going to play and he'd make more money over there and this, that, and the other thing. And there's talk that, they throw appearance money around on this tour, which isn't even a part of the official $255 million that's being offered over 8 events. There's a report yesterday that DJ, separate from the tournaments, got $125 million to play on this tour. Don't know if, I don't think that's a signing bonus. I think it's a multi-year commitment. But, there was a report out there around dinner time yesterday that he got $1.25.
You say no to that.
He's 37. He has said, in fact, after he won the Masters in the fall of 2020, he was asked about his career and what have you. And he said, well, I'd really like to be done in about 7-8 years, which would have put him about 45 years old. That was DJ's way of saying, Paulina and I, we like to party. We like to live. I got 2 kids. I made my money, won my tournaments, and, I'm done. I don't need to play no Champions Tour.
Well, that's the thing. None of these upper echelon guys need the Champions Tour at all, and don't feel as if they owe the Champions Tour or the PGA Tour. This is what we're seeing. They're breaking ties with this tour to say, I don't need to play in the Colonial. I don't need to play in your Charles Schwab event. I don't need to play in any of this.
And I won't need the money. And once I get to my mid-40s, I won't be able to win anymore, so I won't be interested.
Oh, by the way, the pension that I get from you guys, I'm still getting.
Right.
Which is the best in sports, and it's not close.
So, the PGA Tour has not officially handed down their punishment. Rory is hoping that they will go light. Jay Monahan's the commissioner of the PGA Tour. He indicated yesterday in a brief statement, we're not going to go light. What part of it's us versus them is everybody not understanding? There's not room for both as far as we're concerned. I do think there's a lot of hypocrisy going on here. I mean, listen, it's blood money. The whole absolutely. Not going to try to downplay any of it. You know, they've been playing sports over there for a long time. The same tour has given many a waiver for many years for their players to play in events in the Middle East. They did it this past February. These sponsors had no problem with DJ and others wearing their logos in the Middle East, playing the golf for many years now. The European Tour has had multiple events a year in the Middle East.
I don't know. You can call it hypocrisy, but let's just take it in terms of one sponsor, one tournament. The RBC Canadian Open is next week. They're the sponsor, not of just DJ. They're the sponsor of the damn tournament, David. So what are they supposed to do? Say, hey, guys, I'm going to keep paying you, but you just basically put double middle fingers up to my tournament that I sponsor in the home country of the company that is us. I don't know what RBC is supposed to do there. They're aligned with the tour. It's not hypocrisy. It's backing the people that you work with.
They've been a sponsor of DJ for a long time. He can't miss one tournament they want him to play in. Listen, they said that, Mark. They said, hey, this tournament's important to us, and we are all in on the PGA Tour. And they didn't say what you said, but yeah, they're taking it as a double middle finger, and therefore we're done with you. Okay. But don't tell me it's about the Saudi Tour. Don't. They've been playing over there for years. You had no problems with them playing over there. None.
No, it's not the problem with the Saudi Tour. It's the problem in I do think we need to go LIV because it's not a tournament. There's nothing to do with any tournaments over in Saudi Arabia. It's tournaments in the United States that they have a problem with. It's tournaments in London. We keep saying Saudi Arabia. Who gives a damn about Saudi Arabia right now? What they care about is tournaments in London, tournaments in New Jersey,
Portland, Boston, Chicago, Miami.
That's what they care about. That affects their bottom line.
I'll give you that. So you don't think it's hypocrisy?
Oh, life's hypocrisy. How do we want to poke the bear this time? I mean, come on.
May have to put that on a wall. Our buddy Greg Anderson does the wood carvings. Can we get him to do life's hypocrisy? Have it over us. Have it be transportable. We can bring it on remotes. Bring it to the golf tournament. That's where we encourage people to go to, floridasportsnetwork.com.
And sign up for the Hypocrisy Open. June 11th at West Bay.
You're going to drive around with the sign in your cart?
I might. We've got a printing company now. If they can get this done in time, I'm ready.
I'll tell you, our posters have posters. I mean, man, at least according to the emails, we got them.
I got a bunch in my car. I have no place left to put them out at. I started decorating one of the rooms in the house with them.
Well, we got a woodpecker attacking our windows. I could put them up on our windows if you need a place to put them.
As long as they don't do it too early, David.
I understand.
You're up early enough to sleep. You get up before the woodpecker. So
apparently the woodpecker is a breakfast and dinner thing. It's a sun up, sundown thing. Man, oh man. Loves our house, apparently.
They can do some damage.
I saw some of the damage they were doing at your place a few years ago. Had to call the authorities in.
Damn woodpeckers.
Those beaks are tough. Miller and Moulton. A lot going on in the sports world, and that's one of the reasons why we have the starting five, and it is next. Thanks so much for listening here on the Florida Sports Network.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Mark, we're playing golf.
Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com to sign up now.
I'd like to thank Budweiser, Twin Peaks, and Southwest Florida Golf Carts. Got some good stuff there. flgolfcarts.com.
Where are you going to go? floridasportsnetwork.com. Sign up for our tournament Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Your golf will include your foursome and a chance to have lunch and awards after.
Sign up at floridasportsnetwork.com.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, he didn't get behind that ball very good, did he?
No.
That was pretty bad.
And a lot of time.
A lot of time to get back there. I don't think I put it in. Oh, no, I did. I didn't put it in, but today in like 08 and 09, the same guy won Preakness in 08 and won the Belmont in 09, the same jockey.
Oh, okay.
A year apart. I was like, okay. Who?
Iga Swiatek.
Okay. Didn't watch a shot.
Yep, me neither. No interest. He did. Apparently, he watched a lot of it because his roommate wanted to. And he goes, it was terrible. I looked at him. I go, well, they're football players. Apparently, Aaron can play a little bit. But they had mulligans and, yeah, supposedly.
I thought the recent thing about these guys that I found interesting is that apparently Patrick Mahomes didn't have his brother at his bachelor party.
Well, he is kind of annoying.
You can kinda.
And you and I are only children.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Arch, the Canadian Open used to be a big deal back in the day. Like in the 70s, it was considered, in fact, Lee Trevino's great summer of, 72.
It was almost a fifth major before the Players, if you will. The Canadian Open was kind of a big deal.
Yes. The Canadian Open, along with The World Series of Golf, the Firestone,
Firestone
one, which is usually like a week or so after the PGA.
Yep.
That used to be basically the end of the golf season.
Correct. Boy, the World Series you had to win to get in. It used to be like the Tournament of Champions.
Jack won it a bunch.
Let's just in. He won a lot.
I know, but that's one of those like Tiger. The course fit him, and
I think Tiger won there a lot too.
yeah, I think Tiger won 8 times, 7 or 8. I thought he won that one.
I just remember that course has all the holes go in the same direction, but 2.
You okay? Getting a little worried. And remember, 3 hours from now, we're going to have to come up with a new open, because when we do Today Was the Day When, it talks about, the oldest person, blah, 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 blah. So we can't play it because Mark's doing it now.
Either that or you can play it if you can find a record scratch.
Right.
And then right in the middle of it, do it.
I can say oldest. My bad. I could say second.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could find the record scratch.
I could, yeah.
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Top of the morning to everyone on this Thursday, the 2nd of June. 98 days away from kickoff of the NFL season, 91 days away from kickoff of the college football season, 86 if you're going to count that whole week 0 Saturday thing in late August. Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. That's where you go, floridasportsnetwork.com. Miss any part of the show, you can download our podcast there. Also, still have time and a little bit of room if you'd like to join us a week from Saturday at West Bay Golf Club in Estero. It's our first golf tournament in this, our third act with the Florida Sports Network. Folds of Honor, the charity that will benefit from it. We'll feed you. We'll give you a nice shirt. And we'll be in a good mood, and we'll have a good time.
There you have it.
It's a hot steaming deal, right?
We'll work on the good mood.
Come on.
Well, no, because it'll be crazy. The mornings of golf tournaments, there's a lot of work to do. A lot of things get to be done, so I'll do my best to be in a really good mood.
You'll be in a good mood. Let's see, 8 o'clock, 8:30 shotgun, something like that?
8:30 shotgun.
So you'll be in a good mood by about 8:40.
I'll probably be in a good mood all morning, so I'll probably have the daughter with me. Wife's got to work that day, so I may have the kid in tow. She may be put to work.
Oh, wow. We're all going to have to clean up our acts, aren't we?
Not with her sarcasm.
Well, I was just meaning the vocabulary.
She does live in my house. There's that.
I didn't say she hasn't been exposed to it. I'm just saying, I don't want her sitting down with Mom at dinner going, Mom, let me tell you what the guy said.
Heard a new one today.
Time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Mom, what's Ozark and who's Ruth?
honey, you're about 7 years away from being exposed to that. Tampa Bay Lightning, well, they missed the start of the conference finals. It started last night. Tampa Bay, they'll be ready by tomorrow for game 2. Lightning mailed one in against the Rangers, who played really well, and their stars all delivered. Shesterkin was good in goal. Kreider, Panarin, Mika all scored. They got a power play goal. Stamkos did have a goal and an assist. Lightning lost 6-2 to the Rangers, who won 7 in a row at home. Game 2 of their conference finals will be tomorrow at Madison Square Garden. Game 2 is tonight in Denver. Avs and Oilers. We have no idea. We think Mike Smith's going to be back in the nets for Edmonton. He's their 40-year-old starting goalie who got pulled midway through Game 1. But we do not think Darcy Kemper is going to be in nets for Colorado.
Nothing that we're seeing says he's going to play. Got hurt in Game 1.
Weird, too, an upper body injury, and nobody can find any contact with him. So Colorado's up 1-0 because they won Game 1 8-6. They're minus 180 for tonight. I think you got to play Edmonton. Edmonton lost Game 1 to LA and Game 1 to Calgary. Don't you play him again? Facing a backup goalie.
Okay.
You gonna lay that with Colorado?
I don't know if I'd play it. If I were to play it, I'd lay it with Colorado.
Okay. Fair enough. Remember, Blues won twice there. I think I'd go Edmonton. I know I'd go Edmonton. NBA Finals begin tonight in the Bay Area. Golden State a 3.5-point favorite over the Celtics. Did you see the numbers with this series? It's fascinating. Vegas has Golden State a clear favorite. I think they're like minus 150 for the series as a whole. ESPN's BPI has Boston an 85% likelihood to win the series. So Vegas is on the Warriors. ESPN's analytics say it's 85% Boston, and one other form of analytics says it's 80% Boston.
I mean, you always like to say styles make a fight. Well, this is perfect for that. We've got a great defensive team, defensive player of the year against the offense in the association.
Game 1 tonight in the Bay Area. Not a single player on the Celtics has played a second in the NBA Finals before. And they admitted yesterday, they're walking around going, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah, give me Golden State tonight.
One other NBA note, Quinn Snyder is seriously considering stepping down as head coach of the Utah Jazz. You know, there's only 2 coaches in the league who have been with their teams longer than Quinn Snyder, 8 years in Utah. Pop and Spo. Steve Kerr and Quinn Snyder both have the same tenure with their respective teams. Golf, Dustin Johnson, Graham McDowell both lose RBC as a sponsor. It's because they're not going to play in the Canadian Open, which is the C part of RBC.
It's the RBC Canadian Open.
Right. The PGA Tour doubles down and says, yeah, you can't play on both tours, all right? So the discipline will be coming soon, is what they're saying. U.S. Women's Open gets underway today. Do you know Annika's in the field?
Yes, I did.
Think she makes a cut?
I think so. I don't think she plays unless she thinks she can make the cut.
I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. Annika's got a lot of tiger in her. She is not out there to be. When she came back and played like the U.S. Senior Women's Open, and then she played one regular tour event because it was near her home, and she said, I did that for my kids because my kids never saw me play. I retired and then had kids. But yeah, for her to enter the U.S. Women's Open, yeah, I'm with you.
I think she makes the cut.
The Memorial gets underway today as well. Did you watch the match last night?
Not a shot.
Me as well. Felipe?
I actually did. I don't know why.
You sound disappointed in yourself.
It stunk. They're terrible.
They're football players.
They hit like 30 balls out of bounds. Apparently a guy got hit in the head by a Josh Allen shot.
Yeah, well, I mean, got to admit, you got 4 amateurs out there. Want to line the fairways. I think somebody's getting hit. Brady and Rodgers won the 12-hole match, 1-up against Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers, apparently the last hole was a par 3. Stuck one to about 12 feet, made the putt. So apparently he's the only one who can kind of sort of golf out of the group. At least that's what I read on Twitter. Because like you, Mark, I didn't see a shot. Scott Van Pelt had a funny line on SportsCenter last night. He's teasing the match. And he said, coming up, blah, 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 blah. And I got to admit, folks, I don't know who won. I didn't see a shot. So I'll read my shot sheet and tell you what happened after the break.
Perfect. Good for him.
Major League Baseball, the Rays, nice comeback in Texas. They tied it up late, won it in 11, 4-3, battling through all the injuries that they have. The Marlins scored 14 runs in winning the first game and 12 runs in losing the second game of a doubleheader against Colorado, 14-1 and 13-12 in 10 innings.
Why wouldn't the 12-run score be a one-run loss?
They are 6-15, I believe, now in one-run games, 6-15. If they were even 10-11, I think they'd be right around 500, maybe 3 games out of a playoff spot. You'd be looking at this team totally differently. Also, they have a positive run differential by like 15. Anyway, Brandon Rogers hit 3 homers for Colorado in the nightcap, including the walk-off 2-run shot in the 10th. The Mets have won 6 in a row. They lead the league in shutouts with 9, and they lead the league in batting average. That seems to be a good combination, Mark. 5-0 Mets over the Nats. Now they head out west. Braves kept pace, beating Arizona 6-0, and the Phillies snapped the 5-game skid, rallying to beat the Giants 6-5. Okay. It was a Wednesday afternoon. It was damn near a mighty nooner in Oakland. $2 tickets. The Astros are in town. Justin Verlander on the hill.
I went over.
What was the over-under again? Like 7?
You threw it pretty low.
Well, I thought with the $2 tickets, I added a little bit to it.
But I went over.
All right.
Felipe went under.
51.89.
That's an under.
51.89.
Wow.
Yeah. Verlander took a no-no into the 7th. Lost the no-no. Then was trailing 4-1. Houston came back, scored 4 times, and won at 5-4. Cubs beat the Brewers 4-3 and 10. You combine that with the Cardinals beating the Padres 5-2. The Brew Crews lead in the Centrals down to 2. Goldschmidt's hitting streak, by the way, up to 23 games. Blue Jays have won 7 in a row. They beat the White Sox 7-3. Boston got 4 RBIs from Jackie Bradley Jr. in a 7-1 win over the Reds.
Where are you going to go?
Twins 5-0 over the Tigers. Cody Clemens now 0-6 to start 0-4-6 to start his major league career. Yes, Roger Clemens' son got called up 2 days ago. He's hitless in 2 starts. Orioles 9-2 over Seattle. The Pirates swept the Dodgers in L.A. 8-4 the final. Justin Turner's hit streak, however, is up to 24 games. Cleveland blank KC 4-0. Royals are the worst team in baseball.
Yes, they are.
That was not supposed to be the case. You know, young team, put it together, kind of like the Tigers. And the Yankees and Angels got rained out again. They're going to try to play 2 today in the Bronx. Phillies put Juan Segura on the IL. He's going to miss 10 to 12 weeks, Mark, because he doesn't know how to bunt, and he broke a finger while doing it 2 nights ago. And the Red Sox put their closer, Matt Barnes, on the IL with an injured shoulder. Marlins put Joey Wendell on the IL for the 3rd time this year. French Open, top seed on the women's side, Iga Swiatek beat American Jessica Pegula in straight sets to advance to the semis. On the men's side, 33-year-old Marin Cilic makes it to the semis in a 5th set tiebreaker. NFL news, and a lot of it. Steelers defensive end Stephon Tuitt retired, played 8 years for the Steelers, did not play last year. His brother was tragically killed in a hit-and-run car accident right before the start of the season last year. So he sat the year out, and then he got his degree from Notre Dame. And at 29 years of age, he said, upon further review, I'm out of here. So after 8 years, he retires. Marion Barber, a running back with the Cowboys and the Bears, former Minnesota Golden Gopher, died at the age of 38 yesterday. Congress has, quote, requested, unquote, the presence of Roger Goodell and Daniel Snyder at a June 22nd congressional hearing. They have not subpoenaed them, They have requested their presence.
Do they show?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
And John Madden, the late John Madden, gets the cover of the Madden video game. In fact, there will be 3 different Madden covers. I think we all saw that coming after his passing right after Christmas last year. Quickly, soccer, Ukraine is 1 win away from making the World Cup. They beat Scotland yesterday 3-1. They're on a 6-0-2 heater in World Cup qualifying. 1 more win, I think, against Wales. And they're in. Needless to say, quite emotional. U.S., by the way, beat Morocco 3-0 yesterday, and Pulisic chastised the U.S. soccer fan and said, hey, where were you? We played a match. How come nobody was here?
Where are you going to go?
Right. That's what the Cincinnati sports fan said. We're home watching the Reds. Come on now. I will say in this day and age, you know, we got $4.50 gas and inflation and what have you. I don't think the athletes should be going after the American sports fan right now. We got things at home that are, you know,
not for a friendly against Morocco.
Right. This wasn't a World Cup qualifier. We're in already. We're just playing to play.
This is a cash grab.
Right. This thing's got to be on FS1 or something. I'll stay home. I'm good. So that's all. Just throwing that out there. A little advice to the athlete in 2022.
Well, particularly the U.S. men's national team. Just pump the brakes. How about, get out of group before you start talking.
Right. You're not the women. Okay. Put it that way.
Yeah.
If they start chastising us for not showing up, you know what? You got a dadgum good point. You've been kicking A for 30 years. Miller and Moulton. I think that covers it. I tried to look, far and wide, get all the nooks and crannies out of the sports world.
We got to come up with a poll question. We've been, it's happened again.
There's a lot out there. Should be able to think of something. I mean, look at Felipe. He's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed over there. He'll come up with something for us. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Mark, we're playing golf.
Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com to sign up now.
I'd like to thank Budweiser, Twin Peaks, and Southwest Florida Golf Carts. Got some good stuff there, flgolfcarts.com.
Where are you going to go? floridasportsnetwork.com. Sign up for our tournament Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Your golf will include your foursome and a chance to have lunch and awards after.
Sign up at floridasportsnetwork.com.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I have a poll question.
Okay.
You're in Cincinnati last night. You go to a Reds game or a U.S. men's soccer game?
You know what? If you're Mo Egger on 1530, I like that. All right. We're going to go with who do you like, Warriors or Celtics? But that's a good one in Cincinnati, actually. You know, if you had your choice.
So analytics has Boston and Vegas has Golden State.
Yes. But what's remarkable is the margin that analytics have
No, yeah.
Boston by. The one form of analytics has it at 80%, and the other form has it at 85%.
I think both of that is ridiculous, by the way.
Aren't the NBA Finals back to 2-2-1-1-1?
Correct. They gave the Warriors those odds despite having home court.
I can't believe Major League Baseball suspended somebody over a fantasy football.
For 3 games. Have you been following that story?
I'm reading the Commissioner Trout thing right now.
We could do it 721 if you want.
I thought, yeah.
Have you ever gotten into a physical altercation over fantasy football?
No.
Another one.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. How the heck are you? Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday, the 2nd of June. Thanks so much for being with us here on the Florida Sports Network. Greg Wyshynski to talk a little hockey. I mean, since the Lightning haven't shown up for the conference finals yet, we can hold off for another hour talking about them, right?
Whew.
Kind of saw it coming, though. 9-day layoff is really tough. These guys have been playing. They played every other day for damn near a month.
I thought when they got through the first period, they'd find their legs. I was very surprised at 2-2 that the Rangers were able to take control the way that they did in that game.
Yeah, I thought the Lightning actually played the last 7-8 minutes of the first period, played it really well. I thought they were playing a heavy game. They were starting to turn the Rangers over a lot, create scoring chances. I'm with you. I thought it's like, oh, well, they needed about 12 minutes.
100%.
And then all of a sudden they showed up in the second period worse than the way they showed up in the first.
It's like their legs left them in the intermission.
Right.
And the Rangers dominated the second. They take game one, but Tampa's lost a game one already in these playoffs. It didn't affect them very much in the Toronto series.
And they lost it badly, too. They lost 5 spit game one against Toronto. Remember, we were all looking at one another going, did somebody tell the Lightning that the playoffs were underway? Boy, another bad night for the Florida Panthers last night. I'm sorry. Because, you know, the joke from the Lightning fan is, well, you know, we were used to playing Florida Panthers hockey. Now we have to step it up a notch. Boom. Whew. Man.
Tough when you win the President's Cup and then look like that in the postseason.
You can't go score 3 goals in 4 games and go out 4 spit. Come on. That's embarrassing.
Darn right it is.
I did not realize this. I think we've all heard it out there over the years, if not in the last week or so, that the Celtics and the Lakers have the same number of championships. They've each won it 17 times. So Boston's now trying to get one ahead of the Lakers again. Lakers played catch up. Celtics put all those titles on the board. The Lakers, you know, LeBron and company caught up to them in the bubble. I did not realize this. Celtics have only lost 4 times in the finals. They're 17-4. The Lakers, meanwhile, have been to 32 finals. They're 17-15 in the finals. The Celtics are 17-4.
Well, how many of those 15 are just to the Celtics?
Most of them. The majority of them are. There's
Right.
no question. I mean, Jerry West alone, I think, lost 7 or 8 times to the Celtics. Never mind the 2 he lost to the Knicks. So 3 of the 4 times the Celtics have lost in the finals, they lost to the Lakers. The 2 with Magic and Kareem in 85 and 87. And then Kobe beat them in 2010 in 7. The only other time the Celtics have made the finals and lost, 1958. Our favorite franchise, the St. Louis Hawks.
Outstanding.
They beat them in 58, and then the Celtics went all the finals appearances between 58 and finally 85 when they get beat. I mean, all those finals appearances, 59 through Russell in 68 or 69. I mean, they were in it seemingly every year. You know, then Cowens and company win a couple in the 70s, 74 and 76, I think. You know, and then, of course, obviously, Bird, they win in 81, they win in 84. I mean, that must have been like 12 consecutive finals at least that when they got there, they won. But it's been 14 or 12 years, 14 since they won, 12 since they've been. 17-4 in the finals, and here they are, the Celtics, them or the Lakers, whichever one you want to consider to be the greatest franchise in league history, and they're going up against the most recent dynasty, right?
Absolutely, 100%. When you make 6 of 8, yes.
And you
modern
won 3.
day,
Yeah. So here we go, and we got the young guys for Boston who, you know, I mean, we could get 8 years out of the Boston Big Two here. I mean, neither one of them is 25, right? I mean, we could see these guys for a long time. And then I got to be honest, Mark, right now, my $20. How many more times you think Steph and company make it to the finals?
Well, I would say at least one more. At least one more. And I know what you're getting at because the West was a little banged up. This was not the West that we've had in the last 5 years. This was a little easier run.
It's an interesting NBA year. We have a 53 and a 51 win team in the finals. Usually teams who win 60 plus games go to the finals. We didn't have Phoenix was the only 60 plus win team that we had.
Not only that, Mark, but I think the road to the finals in the West is only going to get more difficult.
Oh, there's no question. No, I 100%. But this team showed a couple of things. One, with the emergence of Poole this year. Now there's another asset offensively for Golden State. So that's part one. Part two is that this is the first time we've had Clay healthy in a while.
Yeah, 2 full years since the 2019 finals.
And I think after the injuries, I think teams realize how unimportant the regular season is for high caliber teams. I don't think the 60 game thing's necessary as it was once. Once was. We don't know what Phoenix is going to be next year. Sorry, Dave.
Well, there's no doubt.
We don't know what Phoenix is going to be next year. We don't. You can say right now, well, the West will be better next year. Sure, you can say that. We have no idea.
Well, Dallas can add a piece next to Luka. Jamal Murray will come back with the Nuggets.
We'll see, though. I mean, you got to be honest. All those teams that we're talking about, Chris Paul's not getting any younger, and they're probably going to lose Ayton to free agency. Denver can't keep their big three healthy.
And until Memphis does it,
or Minnesota, or quite frankly, Dallas doesn't have cap room. They can't even keep Brunson. How are they going to add a piece? So, I mean, maybe the Warriors can continue to thread that needle, but they're about an hour and a half away from being old, though, by NBA standards, right? I mean, Clay's in his 30s, Steph's in his 30s, Draymond's in his 30s, right?
or right at it.
I mean, now I know Chris Paul and you got other players that's still getting it done in their 30s, and Steph is a transcendent player in the NBA's history. I get all that. But I just wonder, is this that we may not know it, we may not think it and feel it, but I do. I think this is the Warriors' last shot. I don't think they go back to a finals
Ever with this group. Oh, I can't wait for you to pay me that $20 next year.
Deal. Next year.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can understand your confidence. You're basically saying, listen, dude, when they're healthy, they go to the finals.
Seems to be it.
Well, and it is it. The 6 times group's been healthy, they've gone to the finals, and they added Wiggins.
Right.
And they've got some nice role players. I mean, they got a kid coming off the bench, and Otto Porter was the 3rd overall pick of the draft. Nice to have one of those guys in your rotation. So I get it. But to me, I'm like, wow, made it as a 3 seed, kind of threaded the needle here, got about as good a draw as you could get. Had to play a 7, had to play an untested 2, had to play a 1-man 4 seed. I mean, I will say Boston did go through Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Miami.
Right. And if they end up finishing this thing out, it would be one of the best playoff runs in recent memory of who they had to beat to get there. Probably why you should be picking Boston in this series. I'm not. I picked Golden State in 7.
But there's a lot, I think, to dive into in this series. Is this the beginning of something really special for Boston? I mean, it could be, for goodness sakes. I mean, outside of Horford, I mean, this group could be together a while. They got 2 dudes.
And that's the part of this series that I'm interested in. Everybody is so enamored with how is Boston going to defend Steph. How's Golden State going to defend Boston? You know, Boston's going to be able to play defense. Defense travels, as they like to say. Can Golden State keep Boston under 110? 105?
For what it's worth, Tim Legler of ESPN thought that Draymond and Wiggins have to stay out of foul trouble. That Golden State has nothing off the bench to defend the big two for Boston, that their starters have to stay on the floor and play 40 minutes. Otherwise, they're in big trouble. I will say the rebounding stat for both teams is very telling. Basically, whoever wins the battle of the boards wins when those two teams play. They don't win when they don't win the battle of the glass. So Golden State is a relentless offensive rebound team because those three-pointers oftentimes are difficult to rebound. The rebounds are often long. So,
and Boston for long stretches dominated the glass against Miami. Miami went small and couldn't do anything against Boston to try to get. And Boston did the same thing offensively, going to the offensive glass when Miami had that small lineup in.
So Boston trying to win one for the first time in 14 years. They're trying to then go one ahead of the Lakers again. Golden State trying to win their fourth in the last 8 seasons, 4 out of the last 6 in the finals. You got Steph against the two young studs. You got meat on the bone here.
A lot.
You got meat on the bone. I like it. Styles make a fight. Got the really good defensive team against a really good offensive team. Young against old, so to speak.
But I think the other side of this is the part that I'm as interested in what you just mentioned there is yeah, okay. But what about Golden State's defense? Because you don't play as much in the West. And Boston has the ability to move the ball around and score points. If they do that with their defense, will that be too much for Golden State? I like Golden State in 7. I don't know if you've made a pick yet.
I have not. I'm torn. I'm rooting for Golden State. I'm rooting for the old guys. I figure the young guys, they'll be back in the next 2-3 years. You know, Jalen and company, they'll get theirs. It's tough to look at Steph as old. It's kind of like looking at Tiger and realizing, damn, by golf standards, Tiger's old. Looking at Steph, what's he, 34?
He doesn't look old.
I know, he ain't playing
Doesn't play old.
No, but, I mean, for a shooting guard, outside of Michael, 34 is old. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for being with us, Florida Sports Network. Mark, we're playing golf.
Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com to sign up now.
I'd like to thank Budweiser, Twin Peaks, and Southwest Florida Golf Carts. I got some good stuff there, flgolfcarts.com.
Where are you going to go? floridasportsnetwork.com. Sign up for our tournament, Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Your golf will include your foursome and a chance to have lunch and awards after.
Sign up at floridasportsnetwork.com.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
bad year for rabbits, dude.
For
Rabbits. Apparently, we're dumping rabbits on the streets.
we're dumping rabbits on the streets. Is there a reason that we're doing that? Morning, Johnny Mac. Is that our poll question, by the way? Warriors, Celtics?
Yes. Wow. So hell yeah, country. You see the
Oh.
story?
Saw it on NBC2 last night.
Can we use another radio station as an ugly?
Sure. Why not?
Can I say things like I'm not surprised?
You can say anything you want, just as long as you don't mention the company and a certain person by name.
Okay, got a bad and an ugly. So I guess there's a story here about there was a local gal who was from Cape Coral who was the Miami Ibis, who was the mascot there at Miami. And you got to hide it. Michigan State, I noticed what they did is you can't say you're Sparty, but they let them wear the boots at graduation.
I
thought that's pretty cool.
That is cool. I missed that yesterday.
Did you ever try out to be the mascot at FGCU?
No, but my mom wanted me to because I was the mascot of my high school.
Who wanted you to?
No, but my mom wanted me to because I was the mascot of my high school.
You'd be a good mascot.
I was
You're
a
the
really
perfect
good
type for
mascot.
it.
My mom's been working at my high school for 30 years now and says that she hasn't seen a mascot better than me.
Well, that's your mom.
But they all get shy and they just stand there like, I'm like,
If you could skate, you'd be a good Swampy. Perfect
Huh?
height for it.
no,
You're the perfect height for a mascot.
I am the perfect guy for a mascot.
Can't have a tall mascot. They had one Azul at FGCU like this when I was doing games. They went from one to someone that was like 6'3". I'm like, he's too tall, whoever the person is.
I'm also the perfect height for to be a fighter pilot. And
Yeah,
be a fighter pilot.
let's stop with that.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. And that's where you can go to vote on our poll question. Besides following, Mark on Twitter at that Mark Miller, following me on Twitter at the David Moulton. Or you can follow our syndicated sports network here at FL Sports Network, but floridasportsnetwork.com and NBA Finals, the focus of our poll question. Who you picking? Celtics or Warriors? We'd like to congratulate the Boston Celtics on winning the NBA title because both Miller and Moulton picked the Warriors in 7. So congratulations, Boston, on title number 18. Way to go. Good job. Although, in this, our third act, the two of us agreeing on a pick has not been the kiss of death that it was during much of our first 2 acts.
No, it's more like Wonder Twin Powers activate, baby. That's right. I went from a 1979 obscure cartoon reference right there.
Right. That's why I enjoyed it. Once again, Felipe's like, where's the bell? I gotta hit the bell. What are they talking about? Man, they're old.
Got that right.
Miller and Moulton. So vote accordingly. Felipe, by the way, very quickly, don't leave the mic. Who do you like? It's your thing. Who do you like?
Yeah, come on. Let's get to the expert here. Miller and Moulton both picked the Warriors in 7.
Who do you like?
Since you don't listen to us or respect our basketball opinion, who you picking?
Warriors in 6.
Okay. Once again, we'd like to congratulate the Boston Celtics on championship number 18. Well done, guys. Well done.
So there's a little story that's been out for a couple of weeks. We've talked about it briefly, but it has to do with baseball and fantasy football.
Right.
Jock Peterson and Tommy Pham had the slapping incident.
Pham walked up to him in the outfield and slapped him. Sherrod and Nicolas Cage snap out of it. Apparently, Jock was, talking some blank and didn't handle the fantasy football league appropriately.
The fact that Pham was suspended 3 games by Major League Baseball is baffling to me.
That's a major suspension, actually.
Right.
Really, it really is. I mean,
let's put this in perspective. What did Josh Donaldson got suspended a game for being a racist? I mean, that's what Major League Baseball said.
That was their conclusion, yes.
This guy slapped someone in pregame over fantasy football, and they give him 3 games.
And he was honest with Major League Baseball, too. They called him in. They're like, what's this we're reading in the paper? And he's like, oh, yeah, fantasy football. Mike Trout's the commissioner of the league. Yeah, and this Jock Peterson dude, he's just unethical conduct. You guys wouldn't know.
According to an article in the Cincinnati Enquirer, Pham dragged Trout through the mud as well, saying Trout did a terrible job, man. He's the worst commissioner in fantasy sports.
Now, I do think a good part of that was tongue in cheek, but
I hope it all was. It's fantastic, no matter what part of it is or isn't.
All right. True or false? Mike Trout has gotten more publicity in the last 2 weeks for being commissioner of a fantasy football league dispute than he has for being Mike Trout.
There's no question. In fact, this has done more for his Q rating than any other thing he's done in his career, David.
I mean, this is, outside of him being hammered at Eagles games and doing the fly Eagles fly and pounding beers, this is like the second coolest thing Mike Trout's ever done.
And no one has ever thought a fantasy football commissioner was cool before. Somehow Mike Trout's making it cool.
I do think, though, it'd be like, I don't know, Brady running the golf fantasy league amongst NFL players. I mean, it's all of a sudden, wait a minute. Best player in the league's the commissioner? This is cool. Get an email from Mike Trout. Hey, you in or out?
Right.
Get your lineups in by noon, okay?
I'm not allowing that trade.
I don't have time for them. I'm going to be done signing the autographs for the kids, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to lock in the rosters.
But if you think about it, Trout's the perfect fantasy football commissioner because he really never plays any meaningful baseball from September 1 on.
Look at you. Look at you. It's not his fault, though.
Never is.
I mean, the guy's finished top 2 in MVP voting like 6 times in his career. They're on a swoon now. They've lost 6 in a row.
Yeah, they are.
They're happy they got 2 days of rain in the Bronx. Not 1, but 2.
They need a doubleheader just so they can get a split.
He's a big football fan, though. Huge Eagles fan. Mike Trout.
Maybe a big year for him.
Yeah.
I mean, not so much for the Angels, but maybe for the Eagles.
Right. Either way. Hey, listen, with this 17-game schedule, he could even play a playoff series or two, still only miss about 5 games of the Eagles season, 2 or 3 home games. He's a season ticket holder. I love that about him. He's got this gorgeous pad out in Southern California. And shortly after the baseball season ends, says to the wife and the kids, yeah, we got to go to South Jersey for a few months. They must look at him and go, what? For November and December? You do know what the weather's like out here. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. The Eagles are playing.
Yeah, you can fly in Saturday night and fly home after the game, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I got to listen to Eskin and Cataldi and company and see how we're doing.
But I love that Pham decided to throw Trout under the bus, be it tongue-in-cheek or not.
All right. You're the fantasy football guy of the two of us. You have played in leagues. You have played in high-stakes leagues before. Have you ever been involved in, or there was ever a dispute in any of the leagues that you played in which, because Pham was not playing around. This was not a playful slap in which, he hadn't seen him in a while. And no, Pham was drop dead serious. He was angry at Peterson. He didn't want to cold cock him, but he just slapped him and basically said what you did was BS, and you know it.
We had someone try to cheat in our big stakes game, and we outed the person. And if I would have been near him, I would have slapped him. But he lived 1,200 miles away, so I wasn't really going to fly up to Boston and slap somebody I didn't know. But it got pretty dicey when there's 5 figures on the line and someone's trying to cheat. And it's the person running the league that's trying to cheat.
Oh, man, that's a problem. That's a problem.
And it was about a 3-day going through sheets and making sure we were right in what our findings are.
Was anybody ever close to getting in a car or jumping on a plane and flying up and dealing?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, yes.
So in other words, if you were a traveling baseball player and you just happened to come through Fenway, you would have confronted this person.
At 100%.
And you got to figure the fantasy league that these guys are playing in is not for $20. They're Major League Baseball players.
There's no telling what they're playing for.
And Pham admitted, we were gambling. I mean, he told Major League Baseball that. He goes, we're not doing this for pride.
I mean,
so they can play fantasy football for money.
I don't know if they can or not, but they are. They did. They're going to again.
Right.
A little side thing. I mean, you can't play it for money through ESPN.com, but it doesn't mean you can't take that.
I understand that, but
right. Yeah.
The whole gambling, and you're a baseball player, and I know
you can't gamble on baseball.
Right.
Doesn't say you can't gamble on horse racing or football or anything like that, although they won't let umpires go to casinos. I don't know why, but they won't. Got to stay out of casinos.
Was Calvin Ridley busted for using DraftKings?
Well, he was betting on football.
Right. That's a difference.
He was betting on games.
Gotcha.
Major league players betting, playing fantasy football. So, okay. I'm curious, anybody else, in our Twitch chat room or FSN radio to 21,000, have you ever had a fantasy dispute that ever got this heated? Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Mark, we're playing golf.
Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com to sign up now.
I'd like to thank Budweiser, Twin Peaks, and Southwest Florida Golf Carts. Got some good stuff there, flgolfcarts.com.
Where are you going to go? floridasportsnetwork.com. Sign up for our tournament, Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Your golf will include your foursome and a chance to have lunch and awards after.
Sign up at floridasportsnetwork.com.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, FLGolfCarts.com. FLGolfCarts.com.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Jeff, I'm telling you, we're going to get the bell. We're going to get the bell. There are times, though, that Felipe is going to miss the bell because he's sleeping.
Which was
He was dozing
during the
off
7
earlier
o'clock
this
segment.
hour.
We were locked into NBA talk. I'm looking right at him, and he was out.
I know.
So it's not just NHL talk that puts him out. We were doing an NBA Finals segment, and
Yep.
he was sound asleep.
To think he stayed up for the match. It's unbelievable.
Why are you so tired this morning?
I don't know.
I got a question. Are you exercising?
I mean, I did yesterday. I went on a 4.5 mile walk yesterday.
Okay.
I don't know if that.
At 22, is that exercising?
What time did you go to sleep? Honestly.
11:30.
Get up at 4:30?
Yeah.
5 hours. That's not enough.
That should be at 7 o'clock.
No, it should be at 7 o'clock. I agree. I mean, we are surprised that you're not in the nap schedule. Like, I took a 40-minute nap yesterday at like 11:30, 11:40 to 12:20. I slept for 40 minutes. It was
I
glorious.
slept through the second, and I didn't take a nap. I fell asleep in the second period last night.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because, well, I've got half days right now, David. So I was in the car line. In fact, I can do the 8-12 segment just on the car line.
Working at the car wash. But Felipe, we're surprised you're not in that routine yet. You haven't established that yet. Where you come in 4, 5, 6 hours sleep, whatever it is. You take your 8 o'clock coffee. That gets you through the show. You go home. You crash.
Because I didn't take my nap yesterday. And here's the thing. I'll go home sometimes and things will just happen. And it's either I take a nap or, oh, now I'm doing this.
Take a nap. I'm not kidding. When you doing this schedule, when you feel like, wow, I need a nap, you just take a nap. You have to. You have
Sometimes I get carried away with the naps.
I tried yesterday. The problem was the daughter was in the pool, and I don't really feel guilty. I feel pretty guilty letting my daughter swim while I try to sleep. Adam off the top rope. Being tired and uninterested is the typical Miami sports fan this time of year.
Hello. Boom.
I mean, we just got Memorial Day weekend to the face. So, yeah, I'd say we're all pretty hungover.
Well, and the Panthers got swept, too.
Right, and the heater done.
Yeah. And the Marlins lost on a walk-off home run in Colorado last night.
Right, and they scored 12 runs, couldn't win.
That is depressing.
It is. That sweep would have been nice coming off a day off.
I think I might have to get some Cheez-Its. I won't use pennies, though, I promise.
If you need change, let me know.
You need a rich girlfriend that could run to that Cuban place and be bringing you croquetas right now.
Right.
I'd love that. But
Spend a
no.
little less time on the basketball court, a little more time trying to meet a woman.
No, I need to get in shape first. Then I'll meet a woman. Women are very materialistic these days.
These days.
No, they're not.
Always. If I don't look like Miles Teller in Top Gun, you know. Or my bad, Rooster. I will say he does have a mustache, though.
Yeah, should try to grow one.
I'm trying. Certainly trying and failing, but trying
Oh,
nonetheless.
when do you turn 22?
On July 18th.
Okay. So what do you think? You think he'll have one by the time he's 23?
If he doesn't shave it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. If he leaves it there and just
For another
year plus.
13 months, you might have something.
I guess we'll see.
You won't be able to. You got to go home for your birthday.
Yeah,
and
you
have to
must
shave
not
it.
be going home
I-
to see your grandparents.
I'll stiff arm my grandparents.
That's
That's
right.
cute.
My
Yeah.
mom will try to shave
That's
it off my sleep.
I was going to say. That's
Derrick
hysterical.
Henry. Josh Norman.
It's hysterical. The matriarch of the family, I'm going to stiff arm.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour, Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. The Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Handful of foursomes available. A week from Saturday is our golf tournament. West Bay Golf Club in Estero. Beautiful course in great shape. It'll be a good time. It's affordable by these days' standards. Get a nice meal, get a nice shirt, good camaraderie. Food and drink available during the round on the course, raising money. Hopefully thousands for Foals of Honor. So go to floridasportsnetwork.com and sign up.
Parking is free at the golf tournament. That is the one prerequisite. I wanted to charge for parking, but David said, I will not be a part of this.
No. It's bad enough what we're having to pay for parking. Nope.
You wanted to charge?
No.
It's just a joke.
Come on now.
I've had a pet parking peeve for a long time.
When did that start?
I think it's
It's been as long as you've lived here.
yes. And I think it's because of how old I am and how parking used to be free in a lot of places or unbelievably affordable. And then it was something in which almost as if the forces united and said, we can stick these people for $20 a car. And what are they going to do?
Where are you going to go?
And boom, it happened. And all of a sudden you showed up for the same event and $2 turned into, wait, what?
No,
And-
but quite literally, where are you going to go? Like they back you in a corner. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And you're already in line. You can't get out, the whole deal. I think it bothered me when there are a few places, Mark, in which parking is more expensive than the ticket. That bothers me. Minor league sports, and you're going to charge more for parking than you are for general admission. Come on now.
Mighty Muscles
Seriously?
games.
So that's a thing with me. That's a thing. Also, because I've never had money.
Will you valet when you're out?
Yes, I will.
So you have no issue paying someone to park your car.
Yes.
Nice dinner, hotel, whatever.
Yeah. Plus, to be serious for 3 seconds, my wife's got some physical issues. And so I want the car. I want her to be able to walk out and get right into the car.
I
Yes.
got you.
So,
but I mean,
so I will pay for that.
But you can always, you could do that yourself. You could be that stingy and drop her off and self-park.
Right.
I've watched many a person do it.
Right. But that would take exercise, Mark. And I'm allergic to it. So, there's no reason to get exercise in at 8:00 at night. After a
I'm
meal.
with you. I'm with you.
Or in what time my wife likes to eat. There's no sense getting the exercise in at 5:40.
Don't knock your wife for early birds, okay? I'm not that far behind her anymore.
It is funny out on the road with like what was the Fox folks and the CBS folks. And, they're all from big cities, New York and LA. And so, you have a tendency to eat later in New York and LA. And it's really funny with the CBS folks because Gary Danielson and I are both, we live in Southwest Florida. And so we kind of look at everybody and it's like, hey, it's 4:45, or have we started thinking about eating yet? Okay. And they look at us like, what? We're not even going to go and, get a drink and wings till 6:30. And we're looking at them like, oh no, we'll be in our rooms by then. Okay. We'll have our cheeseburger and fries and be back in the room by then. Are you kidding?
I definitely think that's the big city thing. And also our hours don't help. When you get used to doing the early morning hours, you get used to eating all your meals a little bit earlier. But hey, nothing wrong with a good early bird now and again, David. Nothing wrong with a good early bird.
I'm a fan. I am a fan.
The text number is 21,000. You text FSN Radio. That is the keyword. FSN Radio to 21,000. FSN Radio to 21,000 if you want to chime in on the show. If you want to watch the show, you can go to twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. It is the Miller and Moulton Twitch TV channel. You get to watch right through the commercial breaks, interact with not just us, but questions for guests as well. And a reminder, as David said, June 11th, our golf tournament. June 11th at West Bay. Still about 4 foursomes left, if I looked at that right a moment ago. So there's still room for a few more of you if you would like to join us. On June 11th at West Bay, Folds of Honor will be the benefactor.
If I can backtrack for 1 second, do you know what also absolutely positively cemented it with me about parking? It's free to park at the Masters. How do you not carry a parking bias the rest of your life as a sports fan? I am not exaggerating this one iota. I pulled in, I parked, I stood at my car for 8 minutes. I just figured, well, there's so many people pulling in, the parking attendant couldn't get to me. I don't want to be, charged. I don't want somebody running me down on the course going, you didn't pay to park. All right, sir, you have to leave. I literally waited, standing at the back of my car. And finally, enough people walked past me and I watched them and they were just walking into the grounds. And I thought, it's not possible this is free, is it? At least 8 minutes I stood at the back of my car alone.
Well, the tickets are still cheap. The pimento sandwiches are $1.50.
And the question, they're having you parking like inside of the complex.
Oh yeah, I was parking on grass next to a tree. I could see the entrance from where I was parking. Right. Now, granted, I got there, the sun was coming up. I'm going to walk in as soon as they open the doors. I'm going through. This was my first time ever at the grounds, and I figured my last time I'll be there. So I'm going to be here all damn day.
And that's the way you go. I will say that anybody who ever gets tickets, whether it's a practice round, whether it's a regular round, you get there when they open and you stay until they leave.
I think they'll let you in about 7:45 or something like that. And yeah, I left like 4:00 because I wasn't interested in the par 3 thing. There was virtually nobody on the course. And I went, oh, okay. So if you must know, that cemented it.
That cemented it.
Sure.
Yeah, but they don't charge really anything for anything.
But I understand that. But when you're paying, come on, what we have to pay to park, you go to a Bucks or a Dolphins game. Honestly, it's a general admission ticket to park your car.
I love the collegiate games where the entrepreneurs just put the sign out front and you're parking in someone's yard.
That I'm fine with. Because it's not going to the man.
So so basically your problem is paying the man for parking because they decided and I get what you're saying. It was like one day they all collectively said, wait a minute. Why are we charging $2 to park? If we charge $20 to park, do you know what that would do to our bottom line? And it seemingly happened overnight.
Totally. It's almost as if they're like, and not only that, I don't even know if we have to declare this on our taxes. This is all cash, right?
Mr. Snyder.
I'm not sharing this with the owners. Jera doesn't need this parking revenue. But that's all. Because, now the man gets the parking and the ticket and the concessions. It's like, come on, give us a break. That's all. That's all. Maybe that makes me cheap.
No, you're cheap for a lot of other reasons.
Oh, come on.
The $5 tip makes you more cheap than the pay in depart.
I haven't done that in forever.
I'm glad.
Come on, I tip really well now. All right, and I will say you got me over the hump, because I would always tip between 20 and 25%, and the running joke was Moulton's a 22% tipper. All right, and there was a lot of truth to that. And then I sat down one day and I realized, do you know what the difference is between being like a standard tipper and a good tipper? And it's oftentimes like $5.
Right.
Throw the $5 extra down on the table.
And to all of you that tip 22%, you're doing just fine. That is more than enough. There's nothing wrong with a 20 to 25% tip. There's no server out there that would tell you differently either. There really isn't. But it's when you are a 20% tipper and you say, I'm a really good tipper, that I laugh at you, because you are just an average tipper at best. And that's okay. If we had all average to above average tippers,
right,
our service industry would not be in the predicament that it's in right now.
The world would be a better place.
It would. It would.
I'm not being flippant.
No,
there.
I'm not either.
The world would be a better place. But you convinced me when you made fun of me as the 22% guy. And so one day I'm sitting at a restaurant and I had a long talk with myself, and I looked at the bill and I looked at the amount of cash that I had, and I'm like, if you just throw the extra $5 or $10 in, A, it's not going to kill you, and B, look at the statement you're making.
And breakfast, it's even more so. Breakfast, it's $2 or $3 to take you from a 22, 25 to a 30% tip.
So you got me over that hump. So I have no problem giving it as a tip. I don't want to give it as parking. That's all. I'm just trying to allocate my $10 differently. I want to give it to the server, not the man. I mean, it makes me flawed. I get it, but I think it shows I'm a decent person.
I don't think it makes you flawed. It's just, I just was curious because, my father had one. I've got a few. We all have things that we're cheap with. Everybody's got something that they're a little bit cheaper with than the rest of us.
Okay, now Adam brings up something here, which I think is vital to get into. If you tip with a card, it gets split up with the kitchen. If you tip with cash, the server gets it all.
No, it doesn't.
No, that's true. That's why you told me cash is king.
But it doesn't get split with the kitchen.
It gets split with the other servers.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. Not at any place I've ever worked. Now, maybe they've changed every restaurant in the world, but my tips are my tips. You have to tip out bartenders. You have to tip out bussers. There are certain things that you have to do, but you don't tip out the kitchen. You just don't. And there are certain specific restaurants, maybe if it's an oyster place where you got kitchen people shucking oysters, that there might be special exceptions. But of the three of us, I think I'm the only one here that spent a good majority of my life waiting tables. And I never split a tip in my life with the kitchen, ever.
But I thought that part of the reason why you said that tipping with cash is a reason
They don't have to declare it.
Say again?
They don't have to declare it.
Right. That's
It's
why.
free from
Well, yeah,
taxes.
right.
That's the only reason. That's it. Cash is king. I do not have to tell the government that I made cash. I get to keep more of it for myself.
True.
That's why cash tips are king. That's why cash is king.
Right. And I try never to tip on a card.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all.
Anytime you can quote Wu-Tang.
There you go.
So,
in fact, I'm getting a friend of mine who's a kitchen guy who said it's illegal, according to labor laws, to tip the kitchen. Because they get paid an actual...
Right, a salary or an hourly wage, a full hourly wage versus...
Now, trust me, some places still do it and split them in order to get away with some things.
I know there are restaurants that split tips between the servers.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. That everybody pools their tips and it's all split. But that's not with the kitchen. That's with the other servers.
Miller and Moulton. So there's
Restaurant 101, everybody.
Well,
please tip your bartenders and waitress. They're working for tips and tips alone.
I was going to say,
next on the side stage is Destiny.
Hey, did you guys know this is a sports show?
We'll get to it. Greg Wyshynski at the top of the hour. We'll talk. Will the Lightning show up for Game 2 of the conference finals? We think the answer's an affirmative.
And does he tip at the ballet?
Yeah, right. He's back in the city. So we'll ask him, West Coast tipping versus East Coast tipping with Greg Wyshynski coming up in about 10 minutes' time. What was it? Was that somebody that you knew, or was it something that you saw on the news in which you said the other day, speaking of the ballet, in which...
Oh, it was in the Post. I mean, come on. Where do you get good, solid news reporting but the New York Post, talking to one of the dancers,
right,
saying that she's been able to predict recessions far before any of the Wall Street boys just by what happens in the ballet. And she's telling us we're in for rough times ahead because the Wall Street boys aren't spending any money.
Oh, well, recession must not be too far away. Who's your leading economic indicator? Destiny. Destiny and Dakota.
If it's a real stretch, I get Mercedes and Porsche, and they can really help me out because they were named after cars.
It's like that Lincoln Lawyer show on Netflix in which his client doesn't want him to hire a jury consultant, so he hires a professional poker player to sit in the courtroom for a day and monitor the people. It's brilliant. Who else reads people for a living like that besides a professional card player? Miller and Moulton. All right, I guess we'll get back to the sports.
Little hockey, little hoops coming up in the 8 o'clock hour.
Our poll question is hoops. Who do you like in the finals, which begins tonight? Warriors are the betting favorite. Celtics are the favorite of the analytics. Who do you like? FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Warriors or Celtics? Greg Wyshynski talking to hockey next. Miller and Moulton.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Mark, we're playing golf.
Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Go to FloridaSportsNetwork.com to sign up now.
I'd like to thank Budweiser, Twin Peaks, and Southwest Florida Golf Carts. Got some good stuff there, FLGolfCarts.com.
Where are you going to go? FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Sign up for our tournament, Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Your golf will include your foursome and a chance to have lunch and awards after.
Sign up at FloridaSportsNetwork.com.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, FLGolfCarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. FLGolfCarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, FLGolfCarts.com. FLGolfCarts.com.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Holy crap, Cheez-Its are so good.
You said that like you just discovered it.
They're amazing.
I'm a big fan. Look at me.
I will say this show has made me appreciate Cheez-Its in a way that I never have before in my entire life.
So
Why?
Aldi
Aldi?
sells the cheese snips, like not the knockoff Cheez-Its. They're just way cheaper.
And they're still
about the
just as
same.
good.
Put it this way. Does the price difference more than make up for the taste difference?
Don't know. Didn't buy them. I just
Okay.
saw them there, and I was like, "Ooh, those are like a couple bucks cheaper."
Yeah,
a
that's
box.
the thing.
Well, but
Aldi's really. I mean, what they have there is inexpensive.
Right. Even their beer is
I've
inexpensive.
never been. I've seen a couple of them. Haven't been in them.
They have like knockoff Blue
You really
Moons.
need your own bags. They make you if you use a shopping cart, it's like the airport. You put the quarter in for the shopping cart, and then you get your quarter back when you put the cart back into the thing.
Genius. They have like knockoff Blue Moons that are actually pretty goods. They're pretty goods. They're pretty good. They're only $7
you
for a
drank beer.
6-pack. It's ridiculous. What'd you say?
Thought you said you drank beer.
Blue Moon
Hello.
isn't beer. Belgian white. It's not beer.
Do you have to put an orange in it?
Why? Because if you have to put an orange in it, it's not a beer.
Same way I don't think Corona's a beer because you got to put a lime in it. Anything you got to put a fruit in to me doesn't qualify.
A cerveza.
I think Corona's just junk.
Dog shit.
It's horrible.
You know what I like
I don't
better?
like it either.
I like Dos Equis.
I like land sharks better than.
Oh, those are awful.
Land sharks are
Same skunk
underrated.
taste.
Well, I don't like love land sharks. Like I'll have a land shark. But let's not get it twisted here. What about Stella?
Beer.
I like Stella.
Cheez-Its on sale every other week at Publix.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Last time I went, it was on sale. I bought a big old box.
I don't know. The wife got the whole big box for the kid, for the daughter with
Right.
the individual packs.
Lunch.
I can just open one of those and pour it.
Does Maddie have lunch at the school or you pack lunch?
About 50-50. We go through the menu of what she does. When she doesn't like it, I make her lunch.
I see.
Does she get to do both?
I used to do both.
I certainly hope not.
I used to sneak in both.
Oh man.
Eat the lunch the period before lunch and then order
Yup.
lunch.
Yup.
That was the best.
Oh yeah. Or you still have a sandwich after school and you see someone whose parents haven't picked them up yet. It's like, I got a sandwich. You hungry? Boom.
Certainly tastes like that, Adam.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the third hour of Miller and Moulton on this first Thursday in June. Thanks so much for being with us. 91 days away from the start of the college football season, 98 days away from the start of the NFL season, but we are very much waist deep and then some in the NHL playoffs. Greg Wyshynski of ESPN is kind enough to join us once again Follow him on Twitter at Wyshynski, WISHYNSKI. Greg, it's David and Mark. We thank you for your time once again. How are you?
Tired. I am definitely tired, but that's a good thing. It means that there's a lot of hockey going on, and a lot of writing going on. I don't know. I know it wasn't the best thing for the Lightning, but I could probably use a 9-day break. That'd be pretty good for me.
You will get one soon enough, Greg. You know that. So we just pile drive through this until someone is hoisting the cup. But Tampa lost game 1 to Toronto in a similar fashion. Any reason in your estimation that this is different than the way they lost game 1? And should Bolts fans be worried at all?
No, I don't think it's all that different. I do think it's a different opponent. I think the Rangers are playing with a remarkable amount of confidence right now, and confidence that's built through the playoffs rather than a Leafs team that let's face it, when adversity strikes, sometimes they don't know what to do with it. But the Lightning are famous for being able to make adjustments to understanding why things happen. And I think you're going to see that in game 2. Talking to some of the players last night after game 1, you get a sense of them being maybe a little bit caught off guard by how the Rangers defend them on the rush, doing some different things defensively than what they've seen in the previous 2 rounds. And as Victor Hedman said last night, they also haven't seen the Rangers in a little bit. This is a different team than the last time they saw them before the trade deadline. They added 3 pieces at the trade deadline. They've found their game in a way in the playoffs they didn't find it in the regular season, and so I think there's been a bit of an adjustment there for the Lightning too.
I mean, Greg, I'm a Rangers fan, but this team is interesting to fascinating. I mean, they got outplayed by the Penguins. If it wasn't for the fact that they were playing against a beer league goalie, I mean, they lose that series. I mean, they faced elimination now 5 times in these playoffs, and yet when they rolled out their A game the last 2 games against Carolina and Tampa Bay, you look at this team and go, wow, this team that probably should have been golfing 3 weeks ago, this team really could win the cup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I'd say it's 3 games. I think game 6 at MSG against the Hurricanes was the same deal. When they chased Antti Raanta. I mean, they've been putting together some really good efforts. And so, one of the great things about the Stanley Cup playoffs is that teams have the ability to kind of like find themselves within the tournament. Whether it's just line combinations that work, whether it's, finding your confidence, whether it's sometimes even knowing that you belong, which is, I think, what happened with the Canadiens last year in the playoff run that they had to get to the Cup final. I think in the case of the Rangers, you had to have that series against the Penguins for them to really realize what it takes to win in the playoffs. I mean, Gerard Gallant, their coach, has said that multiple times that, they've got a lot of young players on this team. I mean, my God, they've got 3 guys that they actually call the kid line on this team. That's how inexperienced they are. And then so they needed that first series against Pittsburgh to really understand about, winning games on the road and what it takes to come back in a series. And it benefited them. It benefited Igor Shesterkin. And now I think, 2 rounds into this thing, they've rounded into a team that is a lot different, I think, than the team that ended the regular season insofar as their effectiveness of play and knowing what they need to do.
Well, and Greg, at the end of the day right now, this Ranger power play is clicking, and that can be enough in and of itself to carry a team to a Stanley Cup. It seemingly couldn't be stopped in the last series against Carolina, and now they get off to get a power play goal. And I'm not one who worries about percentages. I'm one that worries about, get me a power play goal every game, and you got a pretty damn good chance of winning. And that seems to be what the Rangers are doing right now, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge, rely on your power play in the playoffs guy, because you don't. At some point, there'll be a game where you don't get a power play opportunity, as the Lightning nearly didn't last night. But you're right. Like when they get their opportunities, they're making the most of it, and it's a very potent power play. I mean, it's not just simply one that is upcycled for a few weeks. It was 4th in the league, I think, in the regular season. You watch the way they play on it. Mika Zibanejad last night, I thought, was going to keep shooting the puck until he actually shot it through Vasilevsky's body, like left a hole in his chest cavity. That's how many times he was shooting that puck from the Ovechkin spot. So, They're real good, and I think it probably all tracks back to two people. One is Adam Fox, their dynamic young defenseman who won the Norris Trophy last year and is challenging for the team lead in points in the playoffs. And then Chris Kreider, who had 52 goals in the regular season and is one of the best, but also one of the few guys in the league that you can plant in front of the goal on the power play and not only have him be able to screen the goalie, but also have him score a bunch of goals in that position too.
This may seem an odd question to ask, but we have joked about the Florida Panthers and their performance against the Lightning. And now what must they be thinking as individual players and an organization? And if you're the GM watching the Rangers against the Lightning last night, and I understand things are different, 9 days off versus the Lightning going straight from the Toronto series to the Panthers series. But I mean, this almost seems to be just adding insult to their flop. I mean, if you're the Panthers now and you're over these last 2 weeks as an organization, what are you thinking?
Well, you're thinking two things. You're thinking, first of all, how did it happen where we were unable to play at the same pace and dictate terms in the same way in the playoffs that we were in the regular season? And it can't simply just be, all of a sudden the Capitals played a 1-3-1 defense, or all of a sudden we're playing the Lightning and they're just very, solid structurally. These playoffs were made for the Panthers. I mean, it's the highest scoring postseason we've had since like the 92-93 season. So the idea that the Panthers, who are the highest scoring regular season team since 95-96, couldn't participate in that fun is kind of maddening, right? Like it seems like for what they're able to do best, this would have been perfect for them. The second thing is, and we just referenced the Rangers power play with Zibanejad and with Kreider and with a couple of others. The second thing is, the team is certainly built for offense, but is it built for finishing? I was talking to some people around the league, and the notion that the Panthers had such little success on the power play, part of it is just being in a rut, but part of it is also not having a guy who scores goals being the focal point of that power play, with no disrespect to the goal scorers they had in the regular season. There's no Ovechkin. There's no Patrick Laine. There's no guy that you can cycle the puck to and know that this person is going to pump 10 shots on goal and 4 of them are to go in. And I think that's a real flaw in the makeup of the team, and I think it was exposed in the playoffs.
Tonight, we get Colorado and Edmonton game 2 after one of the wildest game 1s we've seen in probably, decades, or so it seems. What do the two head coaches in Woodcroft and Bednar, they're going to try to slow this down, but it's not really who these teams are. So while I don't expect to see 8-6, I don't think any of us will be surprised with 5-4 tonight.
So what's funny about that is it's the wildest game 1 since the Oilers' last game 1 in Calgary. It's been that kind of playoff. I think a lot of people have asked me about the are we going to see a repeat? Specifically, is the over going to hit two games straight? And if you think back to that first crazy game in the Battle of Alberta, the next game for the Oilers had a total of 8 goals. So, I mean, it's not as if we're not going to see a bunch of goals are still on the board in this game tonight. But I think as far as like the defense of it goes, I think that's going to be dictated by Colorado. The reason that game got out of hand was that the Avalanche, for whatever reason, decided not to lock it down when they had the lead. They decided to keep their foot on the pedal, and it led to some turnovers, it led to some mistakes, and it allowed the Edmonton Oilers to get back in that game. So if Colorado decides to play a little bit differently, I think we'll probably see a tighter game and a lower scoring game, but still one that's going to probably produce a good number of goals. And then obviously the other part of it too is it's tracking that it's going to be Pavel Francouz in goal for them instead of Darcy Kemper. I actually think that's a good move, to be honest with you. I'm not a huge Kemper guy, but that could also impact things a little bit too.
Back to the Eastern Conference Finals. What are you seeing, hearing about Braden Point?
Well, he skated yesterday in full gear. That's a positive development for them. But they're clearly approaching this as When he returns, it'll be a bonus, but we cannot factor him into our plans. It's funny. I feel like every single postseason I've covered a John Cooper team, there's been some sort of catastrophic injury where he's constantly being asked about it. And then it's the same story, which is this person is working their way back. You can ask me about it every day. There's not going to be an update until he's a full participant in practice, yada, yada, yada. And that's the point right now is, the only thing he can say is that progress is being made.
Greg, thanks for fighting through your fatigue and getting up for us. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the conference finals and safe travels.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Greg Wyshynski, he covers hockey for ESPN, ESPN.com. Follow him on Twitter at Wyshynski, Wyshynski. Back in the day, he was the puck daddy when he was at Yahoo.
Then he got the call up, and they lose all that stuff.
Right.
We
Lose the
go with
Twitter
names
handle. Right.
around here.
Yeah.
We're boring.
Right. But more people click on us. But yes. We're very corporate. It works for us.
The over-under in Edmonton, Colorado, 7.5 tonight.
I'm betting the over literally in every game. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just betting the over. I don't like the goaltending in this series. He's not the only one, by the way, that actually likes their backup more than Kemper. But I don't like the goaltending in this series. The Avs showed even in the St. Louis series, they have trouble locking down leads. So, no, I think 5 is the number every game. You go into every Colorado-Edmonton game, I think you have to be thinking we need 5 to win. Which is 1985 all over again.
And it is just fantastic.
It'll be a great scene in Colorado. Gretzky and company they're doing the Traveling Road Show for the Western Conference Finals because this is it for Turner because ESPN is the finals. So enjoy it. Edmonton, Colorado tonight. Boston, Golden State tonight. Another good sports night. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening. Florida Sports Network.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Mark, we're playing golf.
Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com to sign up now.
I'd like to thank Budweiser, Twin Peaks, and Southwest Florida Golf Carts. Got some good stuff there, flgolfcarts.com.
Where are you going to go? floridasportsnetwork.com. Sign up for our tournament Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Your golf will include your foursome and a chance to have lunch and awards after.
Sign up at floridasportsnetwork.com.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Apparently, when you go behind the bar and grab the tequila, you immediately become a lesbian.
Is that how that works?
That's what I take out of this commercial.
Wow.
Because all of a sudden she's sitting at the bar by herself. She opens the thing. She's basically almost holding hands with another super hot chick as they walk up the stairs to dance together. I'm trying to figure out, do you drink that tequila and you have a good shot at a threesome? What is their ad? What is it they're trying to say about 1800?
You drink it, you're hot, you're sexy,
Yeah,
got it going on.
apparently.
What'd you want to do here again?
Did we have something for 821? No, the only thing we did was the fantasy football 721.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
Okay. How about we just
Parking lot. Parking line. That was the only thing I had was the
oh yeah, your
parking-
thing.
Yeah.
Your thing.
$28 foursomes sold.
Really?
Yeah, I got to call Jeff. I got to get him to take the pairs out and move the foursomes to 31 and get rid of the rest of the crap because we can't be having singles sign up now. It's too late.
I don't get the whole ponytail thing. I don't get why Aaron Rodgers is trying to look like Miguel on Jimenez.
In an attempt to start up my engines a little more, I just went outside and stared at the sun.
How's that working for you? Is it cold in there? Is
I
the
don't
air
know.
going?
Why don't you take your jacket off?
No, it's cold.
Well, you fell asleep the last two segments.
I
A caller just hung up the phone after their guest appearance because you were asleep.
need to wake up right now.
That's all. I mean,
Maybe I will take off my jacket.
Only need to do it for a couple minutes. Get you cold again, you'll be like, damn.
My shirt says Felipe on it. Also, I have a problem with this chair. I can't sit up straight. I have to lean back.
Okay.
I feel like if I'm sitting up straight,
Can you adjust the back?
that's the thing. I tried, but it just
Gotcha. Nope, you're stuck. Plus, it's not our furniture.
true, which means I can't do blankety blank.
Dandy, I think the storm's coming. What do we think? Saturday? Late Friday?
I think it might be Friday.
Well, it just needs to be after about 1:30.
We're due for a hurricane.
I need to get out of here.
No, we need to
That's all.
stay and witness it.
No, because it'll cancel a trip. And
where are you going?
my wife's best friend's sons, one's graduating and the other's, I don't know, got
Gotcha.
something going on.
I
I'll
see.
do the show Monday from Baltimore.
Oh, a desk bike. That sounds so cool. Someone in the Twitch chat just said that.
You know what I hate? Email.
I hate emails too, man.
Too many of them?
Yeah, I don't like to have to do business.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com. Take part in our poll question. I mean, it's also where you can go to sign up for our golf tournament. A few foursomes left. Would love to see you a week from Saturday at West Bay and Estero. But the poll question really simple. NBA Finals getting underway tonight.
Who's going to win?
I think we'd both be surprised if it's not a good series, right?
I'm with you. Well, I don't know. I might be surprised. In fact, I'll be really surprised if it's a good series. I won't be surprised if it's a long series, but there's nothing in these playoffs that's given me any indication that I'm going to get a good series. There's a huge difference. It could go 7 and be a total sleep fest, David, because that's what we've been getting.
I'm hoping that the end of the Celtics Heat series is kind of like, hey, we can actually have games in the final 5 minutes.
I hope so.
Because we haven't had a lot of it, that is for sure. But Leigh Ellis, who co-hosts the Athletics No Dunks NBA podcast, will join us in a little more than 15 minutes time. But floridasportsnetwork.com. Who do you like, Celtics or Warriors? Vegas has the Warriors as the clear favorite. They're minus 150. Yet the analytics, I mean, ESPN's BPI has Boston with an 85% chance to win the series. And I think the website 538 has Boston with an 80% chance to win the series. So the analytics love the Celtics. The guys at the casinos in Vegas prefer the Warriors.
See how that plays out. Could be a dark day for analytics, David.
I'm all for that.
I know we all are, aren't we?
I'm all for that.
So, David, today is the last day of school, at least where we are. I don't know about, up in Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, Lake City, even in Collier County. But my daughter's last day of the second grade is today.
Okay.
And what they do to make things easy on all the households that have two parents at work is they do early dismissals the last 3 days of the year. And on top of it, to make it even that much easier, anybody who's involved in an after-school program, they cancel those the last week of the school year as well.
I hope people can sense just how far your tongue is firmly planted in cheek there.
So I am responsible, because my wife actually works for a living, I am responsible for picking up our daughter from school in the car line. That is its own animal, David.
Is that a sitcom onto itself?
It's a dark sitcom. It's a dramedy at best, because...
Or is it a reality show?
And that's what it really is. So the school ends at 12:10. Now, what I realized that if you get there anywhere around 12:10, you're about 3 miles away from the school.
Right.
So in order to even come close, I've been getting there at 12 or at 11:45. I've been about 25 to 30 minutes.
Is that early enough?
Well, I get in the parking lot, but I mean, I'm not anywhere near the front, because they ship you through the playground and they've got a whole track that you
Can
drive
you
around.
See the door that she is coming out of?
Oh, goodness, no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Goodness, no.
Gotcha.
There are people, and I only know this because the normal dismissal time was 2:10. There are people, and I would go for a walk. You and I, every once in a while try to act like we're going to get in shape, and we start walking or doing something. And I would walk past said school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would walk back the second time on my way back, and it would be around noon, 12:15, and I'm watching people already parked for a 2:00 pickup, eating lunch in their cars that are there 2 hours ahead of the time to pick up their children.
Seriously?
Seriously.
2 hours?
Hour and a half, every bit of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when at some point you start questioning, listen, I love my kid, but I mean, I don't know. Might have to pay somebody to do this.
But what I learned is there's one spot as you come around a corner, David, where there are 2 lanes and it quickly goes down to 1 lane. Well, I'm a merger. If I see an open lane
Boom.
and an eighth of a mile of no traffic, I'm going to take it. Oh, boy, did I piss off the car line yesterday.
Uh-oh.
I went right up to the cones where it was merged in. The next three cars they were bump drafting. They were so close to one another not to let me in.
Wow.
Dirty looks, and I mean inches between the cars, as if I had committed a felony by going in a lane that, wait for it, David, had no cars in it.
Doesn't help that you're in a truck either. Then they think that you're an a-hole and all that stuff.
The pickup truck doesn't help.
No, it does not.
No,
Really?
Oh my gosh. Once you drive a pickup truck, that label's slapped on you. You're an a-hole.
Hold on a second. How much life experience do you have in the pickup lanes? That's all. I'm thinking this is a whole different world than I-75. I mean, what you're driving on I-75 is whatever, but I guess there's a different code.
I'll tell you what, whether it's a Levitard move here, this is almost a supplemental poll question here. If you see someone driving a pickup, do you think they're an a-hole?
That's a great poll question. I'll pull that up right now, actually.
I got to admit, we usually try really hard not to have, quote, a-hole, unquote, in our poll questions, but all right.
And there's a lot of pickups down here, so you're offending, especially, we're a show dominated by male listeners, a lot of workers, a lot of construction people. Our audience is a working audience. They're all on their way to work right now. A lot of them probably in pickups.
I have never held a grudge against the type of vehicle that was in the pickup line. No. I mean, you
don't hold a grudge against, you don't look at someone in a certain car and already have assumptions about that person.
Well,
you don't see a 50-year-old guy driving a Corvette and go, oh, really?
No. I immediately realized that he's on wife number 3, and oh no, totally. All right. And when he measured his hands at the combine, they were small. Right. And has had at least one midlife crisis. Right. Absolutely. Okay. No, but I don't hold a grudge. I mean, I make a judgment, but I don't hold a grudge.
Fair enough.
No. I totally then try to sit there at people watch and go, oh, well, this guy, he's been married 20 years. All right. They got 2 kids. All right. He doesn't look very happy. Right. Oh, no, I totally do that. But I don't, can't cut in line in front of me. You're driving a pickup, you blankety blank. No, I just, your vehicle's your vehicle.
Texter, if I see anyone driving a truck, especially if they're speeding through traffic, I automatically assume that they're a D-bag. Bonus D-bag points for a Dodge Ram.
There you go.
Wow.
Look. And so
driving my pickup to work and just found out I'm an a-hole. Thanks, guys. Hey, too, sir. Don't take this personally.
But that's the thing. The label just gets slapped on you, David. That's what you have to understand.
Wow.
There's this.
I can live with that.
Just to let everybody know, and I let you in also. I'm a proponent of, hey, we have more cars and lanes and that things happen, and yeah, sure, I'll let you in. Let's just keep this thing moving. Let's just all get along, because I assume everybody's armed these days. Honestly, I don't beep the horn anymore. I don't give everybody the finger anymore. Honestly, you want to in, I'll let you in.
Just the friendly wave.
Absolutely. In fact, if I could give you a Twinkie on your way in, I'd give you a Twinkie. Right. I just don't shoot me. That's where I am at this point.
Wow.
In life. I assume everyone's armed and everyone's angry.
A lot of the Florida mans out there.
So I don't know.
At least I know I can get in front of David's blue car and he's going to let me merge in.
Good, right. You could yell at me and I'll go, thank you, sir.
We'll try not to yell at Leigh Ellis. He is the co-host of the Athletics No Dunks podcast. He will join us next to talk the association on Miller and Moulton. One of us drives a pickup. Figure out who on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles Or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Mark, we're playing golf.
Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com to sign up now.
I'd like to thank Budweiser, Twin Peaks, and Southwest Florida Golf Carts. Got some good stuff there, flgolfcarts.com.
Where are you going to go? floridasportsnetwork.com. Sign up for our tournament Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Your golf will include your foursome and a chance to have lunch and awards after.
Sign up at floridasportsnetwork.com.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Mark, I think I'm going to change it to, I'm going to delete it and put, if you see someone driving a pickup truck, do you automatically assume they're an a-hole?
Yes.
Yes. By the way, you just said something very interesting about Mark just asked me if I drive a Blazer, does that also make me an a-hole? And here's the thing. When you think of a Chevy Blazer, you think of this thing. You think of the old Chevy Blazer, big boy.
No, I actually just mean the new one. That's what I was going to buy instead of my pickup.
This one?
Yeah.
That's a sweet ride. I mean,
I wish I would
say this, but
I hate my pickup.
I hate to say this, but I think you should have gone with the Blazer.
I should have.
It's a sweet rod. And you wouldn't have been an a-hole.
Masshole, I'm the furthest thing from a Boston guy, dude. I mean, the furthest. No offense, I root against teams because they're Boston teams, because Boston people drive me so batshit crazy. See, JB, that's where I'm with you. I think if you've got the Escalade or the anytime you're driving the super huge SUV, that would be my thought.
Right, like a Tahoe.
Wolfpack, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong as someone who's owned pickups in my life. I think you're exactly right.
Oh, that's the thing. I'm not trashing pickups. I would drive a pickup truck if I could. I muted you, David. My bad.
I like the idea that people that drive pickup trucks don't know everyone else thinks they're an a-hole. I think that's funny. And I drive a small pickup.
Now,
I don't even drive a big pickup.
Now, I have to admit, what is the assumption that you make to the person that gets, the jacked up truck and the huge tires?
Okay.
And,
Like,
what?
D-bag.
They're on 30s. They got the big ass bass boosted speakers in their bed. It's just, why is that necessary? They're smaller gentlemen who have to climb into their truck, like how a monkey climbs on a tree, basically.
I would like to have a conversation with you. So, what were you thinking when you bought this and souped it up? Honestly, what are you thinking?
Oh,
I'd like to get to know.
I hate to,
Because I think we all look at those vehicles and go, what's going on there? What are you thinking, dude? There's a reason for this. What is it? Kenny Pickett hands. That funny?
But see, there's a difference because if you drive like a big boy Bronco, not an a-hole. Badass.
Oh. They were thinking chicks dig it. Okay. Fair enough.
All right, polls up. Go vote. Because that's the thing. I mean, at least in the east coast of Florida, they all just drive like assholes, man. And they have significantly bigger vehicles than you, which put you in danger. They will drive over you.
I don't think so. Don't think I've seen Chara
Okay,
riding a bike.
I just want to say really quick, I don't understand why there are pickup trucks that go like this. They lean. The bottom is...
I'm with you.
Why would you do that? What is the point?
I don't know.
It looks so stupid.
Call Leigh Ellis.
Call Leigh.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening. Whether it be Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice, and what has been our home base for many a year in the 239 in Southwest Florida. We thank you so very much. We hope to see many of you at our golf tournament on Saturday. Still room for less than a handful of foursomes. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com, floridasportsnetwork.com, and sign up. Leigh Ellis, co-host the Athletics No Dunks NBA podcast. You can follow Leigh on Twitter, Leigh, Leigh Ellis. Leigh, it's David and Mark. How are you?
Fine, thanks, guys. Thanks very much for having me.
Well, welcome back. It's our pleasure. All right. We think we will be very surprised if this is not a good NBA Finals. Your first thoughts on Warriors Celtics?
Well, I'm with you. I hope it is right because I don't think we've had a great overall playoffs so far. I mean, we just had a 7-game Celtics Heat series, but probably wasn't the one that we'll remember all that much. A lot of blowouts, a lot of sort of ugly games there. And then on the other side, of course, the Warriors got past the Mavericks pretty easily. So I think we are in for a good one because, look, the Celtics are a very, very good defensive team. That's one thing that I think that Ime Udoka has really been able to get his playing style and his message across to his team is like play good defensively, and that can carry you. We know that defense is very, very important in the NBA, and you're going up against one of the best offensive teams, of course, in the Golden State Warriors with Steph and Clay and Draymond and Andrew Wiggins there now and Jordan Poole coming off the bench. So it's really good to have, you know, that sort of immovable object versus that irresistible force. And I think that's what we are going to see. So the Celtics, kind of where their season started off, I mean, they were 18-21 at one point this season. To now be in the finals really shows they improved so much over the second half of the season to get to the point where they're now, you know, they're underdogs against the Warriors. I think the Warriors are the favorites and they should be. But at least you really feel that they're a young team. They are, even though they're young and they haven't been to the finals before, they've been to the conference finals here a couple of times with Jason Tatum and with Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. So this is an experienced, inexperienced team, if you know what I mean, as far as getting deep into the playoffs. And that should bode well for them because they've had to overcome the Brooklyn Nets in the first round with Kevin Durant. They had to overcome the defending champs in Giannis in the second round. And then I just mentioned the Heat series in the third round here. So the Celtics are battle-tested. They've had to come through some tough stuff, and now they face the ultimate test in the Golden State Warriors, who themselves obviously didn't make the playoffs the last two seasons. Now, for a variety of reasons, we had the bubble situation down there. Klay Thompson missed time, and they also had been to the finals 5 years in a row, so they were almost due to have a couple of bad years there. But they're back. and they're hungry and they're motivated. And I think as well with the Warriors, you know, the last two championships they won were with Kevin Durant, and now he's not there, obviously. And the Warriors, I think, would love to show that they were so much more than obviously just the Kevin Durant Warriors. They won a championship before he came, but then they won the two when he was there. And now they're back and Kevin Durant's not there. And I think the Warriors want to show that Kevin Durant didn't make the Warriors the great team that they were. Instead, he just complemented what they already had. And now they're proving that by being back in the finals and a real chance to win another title here.
Leigh, one of the things I'm interested about this series, and maybe different than most, is that everybody talks about the Celtics defense and the Golden State offense. Well, what about the other side? How is Golden State going to defend Boston? It seems to be an area that, you know, we all know Golden State can score, but can they defend this Boston team?
Yeah, they can. They're a very, very good defensive team, but I think because of the offensive weapons they have, we tend to overlook their defense. But Steve Kerr's been adamant that defense as well has got to be just as important. Now, they have. Let's start with Draymond Green. I mean, he has been a defensive player of the year. He wasn't really close this year, but he did miss a lot of time. But we know that when he plays, the impact he has on that team on the defensive end is significant. So Draymond straight away, now he's one of those guys, he's not really a center, he's more a power forward, but he likes to take on whatever matchup is best for him. I think he's probably going to start probably on Al Horford or Robert Williams. If Robert Williams plays, he's had some knee issues there. Maybe he's not going to play game one, but whoever Draymond starts on, it'll probably be one of those bigs. And then if someone like a Jaylen Brown or a Jason Tatum, who are more than capable of going for 35, 40 points each, if one of those guys starts cooking early, because I expect Klay Thompson will be on Jaylen Brown and I expect Andrew Wiggins will start on Jason Tatum. If one of those guys, though, does get going, you might see Draymond say, right, I'm going to take on the challenge of defending these guys, because he's a very versatile defender. He's very switchable for an undersized big. And you also know that Draymond relishes those challenges. He wants to be the guy who goes out there and shuts down the other team's defense. But apart from Draymond, Klay Thompson, a very, very good defender. Kevon Looney has been effective as well, particularly in the last two playoff series as a big. He's one of those guys you don't think about too much with the Warriors because there's so many other star names getting all the attention. But Kevon Looney's been good. And Steph Curry, he may be the only weakness that the Warriors have. But I also believe that his defense is overrated in the sense that people say, well, he's such a bad defender, but he's not that bad. It's just when you compare him to other players on his team, he is probably the weaker link there. And I think that's where the Celtics, particularly Marcus Smart, who I expect Steph will start on, will try to run Steph around, try to get some threes, maybe try to get him into some foul trouble as well, because we saw certainly Luka Doncic tried to do that with Steph, and even the Memphis Grizzlies tried to do that a little bit as well. Just get Steph into the action as much as possible and try to exploit him on that end. But we also know that isn't always effective. It's just when you look at the other options that the Warriors have, it makes sense that you would try to target Steph. So this is another fascinating battle here because the Celtics do have very, very diverse offensive options. But the Warriors, you know, they certainly are going to be locked in and trying to make life difficult for everybody out there, because this could be a defensive battle. But ultimately, I think these two high-powered offenses are going to give us a pretty good series.
Leigh Ellis, co-host of the Athletics No Dunks NBA podcast. Follow Leigh on Twitter, Leigh, Leigh Ellis. Leigh Ellis joining us here on Miller and Moulton. I'm of the belief, Leigh, that this is the Warriors' last championship run, that they're an hour and a half away from their big three beginning to show signs of age. Are you of that belief?
It's probably not at this point because, look, Klay Thompson missed 2.5 years with a variety of injuries. And when he came back, he had some moments where he looked really good and other moments where he looked rusty. But as we've seen in the last two closeout games, Game 6 against the Memphis Grizzlies and then Game 5 against the Mavericks, he hit 8 threes in both of those games. So for me, we may not see, we're certainly never going to see a 73 regular season win team again from the Warriors, but I think you're going to see them more a bit like the San Antonio Spurs over the last, sort of 2 decades there, where the Spurs were just always a chance. Now, they won 5 championships, they were in the final 6 times, but you always felt it didn't really matter where they finished in the regular season, because come playoff time, Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, those guys who had been there for so much of the run, just up their game. I mean, I remember Manu Ginobili throwing down dunks in transition in the finals against the Miami Heat when Manu was in, and he was probably 34, 35 at that time. So that, to me, is, I think, where the Warriors kind of see themselves right now, where, you know, they finished third in the Western Conference this season, so that, you know, they had to overcome, obviously, the home court advantage against the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the Mavericks upset the Phoenix Suns, so the Warriors had home court in that series, but otherwise they would have had to win on the road there in Phoenix. And I think that's the thing with the Warriors, is they don't really care so much about the regular season. They focus on being healthy at the right time. And that's what we're starting to see, because Steph missed significant time towards the end of the season. Ironically, after a game against the Boston Celtics where Marcus Smart kind of rolled on his knee there. Draymond, I mentioned, he missed so much time that it impacted his all-NBA standard chances, his all-defensive chances, and then Klay Thompson didn't start playing until January. So the Warriors, I think, figured out, like, okay, after especially what happened in that 73-9 season, you know, they lost the finals there because I think a couple of their guys were beaten up and they didn't rest when perhaps they would have normally. So I don't think this is their last chance. I think they probably will still be around for a couple of years, even if you go into the season and you sort of have that understandable belief, like, I think the Warriors, you know, maybe they're a little bit older now, maybe they're starting to be on the downside of their career. But just the way that they have played this season, I think, is what we're going to see more of in the coming years. And also, when you look at some of the young players they've drafted there, in Moses Moody, Jordan Poole's been very good for them. Kuminga, we haven't obviously seen too much of, Wiseman. Kuminga has been actually good. So they're still starting to try to get some of the younger players some reps. So as these older guys move on, that they'll still be a competitive team. And that's also kind of the way the Spurs played. You know, they would always have fresher talent coming through. And then, you know, I mean, Kawhi Leonard's a great example. Obviously, he's not there anymore, but they would still get that draft pick and get that guy and develop him so that they wouldn't have a big drop-off.
Does Boston do anything differently defensively? I mean, everybody switches off of picks, and they're going to try to get Steph free and get him away from Smart. Does Boston do anything differently to try to make sure Smart stays on Steph a little more?
Yeah, I mean, I think Marcus Smart will just relish trying to make sure that he doesn't let Steph go. But this is the thing here for the Celtics is, if you look at their first round, they did a fantastic job on Kevin Durant, just really, really, you know, locked him up as best as anyone could. Same sort of thing with Giannis. They didn't lock him up, but they made life difficult for him. And then against the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, obviously, he was fantastic. But this team for the Warriors is different compared to any of those teams, because they had big guys on those other teams, whereas now the Warriors just spread the floor out and dot the perimeter, and that ball just keeps on moving around. So the Celtics can't really lock in on one guy and say, okay, we're just going to take the ball out of Steph's hands, because if you do that, that's perfect for a Klay Thompson. That's perfect for Andrew Wiggins to drive inside. They won't be able to do that. So I think Marcus Smart, he'll go in there with that Defensive Player of the Year accolade that he won this season, really locked in on trying to make sure he just causes Steph as many problems as he can by himself. No one's been able to really do that, but at least Marcus Smart, you know, is going to be up for that sort of a challenge to try to show that he can slow down Steph. Because even if you do slow down Steph, as I mentioned, they've got so many other weapons out there that those other guys have to be defensively locked in just as much as Marcus Smart will be when he gets out on the court there tonight.
All right, Leigh, final question. Vegas favors the Warriors solidly. Analytics love the Celtics in a big way. Where are you leaning?
I'm going with the Warriors. I think they have so many advantages as far as rest. They have home court. They have more experience as far as being in the finals here. They've got Steph healthy. They've got Klay back looking great, and Draymond. So, look, I think the Celtics are going to make this a tough series, but ultimately, you know, you get game 1 at home, and then you get potentially game 7 at home. That, to me, is where the favoritism should lie. The Warriors always win a game on the road, and the Celtics themselves are only 5-4 at home in the playoffs this season. So the Celtics have been very good on the road at 7-2, but they've also kind of let a couple go there at home. So I think the Warriors win. I've got them going in 6, but I'd love to be proven wrong, and I'd love to get a 7-game series. And I'd love to see if the Celtics could do this, but I just think the Warriors have got too much.
Leigh, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
Leigh Ellis is co-host of the Athletics No Dunks podcast. You can follow Leigh on Twitter, Leigh Ellis, Leigh Ellis. So we're picking the Warriors. He's picking the Warriors.
Felipe picked the Warriors.
You know what's interesting about the Warriors? We keep on talking about the fact that this might be their last shot. They have James Wiseman.
Yeah, he's done nothing.
Well, because he
He's done
hasn't,
listen,
he
you
hasn't been
can't-
healthy.
Okay. He's been in the league a couple years. He can't stay healthy. He's done nothing. Steph 34, Draymond and Clay both 32. Meanwhile, Celtics, big three, if you will, and he's not the best one of the group, but he's the oldest, so I'm going with him first. Marcus Smart's 28, Tatum's 24, Brown's 25. I mean, quite the contrast here. And obviously, Golden State's big three, this is their sixth final. The Celtics core had been to 3 conference finals. This is their first NBA finals. Does that matter? And we mentioned it earlier in the show, the Celtics, a remarkable 17-4 in the NBA finals as a franchise.
Great news for the Celtics. Bad news, they're not playing the Lakers in the finals.
Right. Right. Although the Lakers have beaten them 3 times in the finals. And the St. Louis Hawks took them out in 58.
I'm just interested to see how Boston's big three, how effectively they're able to score against Golden State. I know Leigh tried to make the point that Golden State's a really good defensive team. I don't know if they've had to face what they're facing in the finals yet in the playoffs. They've not faced multiple scores against anybody they've played. They've had a score.
Also, I would argue they have not faced a good defensive team. All right. Denver was down to one of their big three, and they couldn't run around and chase Golden State's guards. And neither Memphis nor Dallas is a good defensive team. They're facing an excellent defensive team. I think it's a 1-1-2-2 series, though.
And you're like, I picked the Warriors in 7. I don't care if it's a sweep if you give me 4 good games. Could we just get good games? I don't give a damn if this goes 5, 6, or 7. But we've had blowout after blowout after blowout. I don't care. Give me 5 really good games. Give me 6 really good games.
So we both like the Warriors in 7. Felipe likes them in 6. Quickly tonight for the audience that's leaving us, Edmonton, Colorado. I think Oilers even it up.
I'll take Colorado.
Miller and Moulton. For those of you in Lake City and surrounding areas, Port Charlotte and Venice, and Tampa and St. Pete, thanks so much for listening. For those of you in the 239, the bonus hour is next. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Mark, we're playing golf.
Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com to sign up now.
I'd like to thank Budweiser, Twin Peaks, and Southwest Florida Golf Carts. Got some good stuff there, flgolfcarts.com.
Where are you going to go? floridasportsnetwork.com. Sign up for our tournament Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Your golf will include your foursome and a chance to have lunch and awards after.
Sign up at floridasportsnetwork.com.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex in the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
All right, I got some research here.
Are you talking to us? Because we don't even have our headphones on.
Blah, 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 blah.
That's what it sounds like.
Wah, 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 wah.
Okay. Obviously, he's not talking to us.
Obviously, he's not talking to us. He's talking to the chat room there.
Felipe, don't do that.
I want you to
Felipe,
show
Felipe.
it.
Felipe, no foreigner.
Seriously, we'll have half our audience just disconnect.
Well, you got that right, Swamp Buddy.
He's not a good singer.
I'm an excellent singer when I try.
Easy Rain Man.
I'm just kidding. So, apparently, the act of having your truck tilted, where it's elevated in the front and lowered in the back, it's known as squatting your truck. And there is no practical use for it unless you are into extreme off-roading, because the front end of the truck is higher, so that when you hit a jump, it hits the back first and you can land safely.
Okay.
Thank you for all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, Yinzer, I was just more behind the line. Foreigner sucks. That was just my total.
Come on, you're cold as ice.
Yeah. Well, and you're a jukebox hero, but
Willing to sacrifice our love.
Oh, wow.
so bad.
You're just...
Apparently, my wife had that song dedicated to her when she was in high school.
Wow.
Yeah. Talk about a guy who was just... I said to her, what did you do to him?
She was cold as ice.
Yeah.
So I texted my son. My producer says if you drive a pickup, he thinks you're an a-hole. I'm not sure he's wrong, LOL, because Jake and I both drive pickups. And he goes, well, F him. How about that, LOL?
It's not that I think you're an a-hole. It's that label is just...
I gotcha. I
actually like pickup trucks. Some of them are necessary, but yeah. I just find it funny when people complain about gas prices when they drive Ram 2500 trucks.
Well, first off, I don't know if there are many vehicles that are good on gas mileage anymore.
Exactly.
We're all driving SUVs.
It's like, look at what you're driving.
Although Seth has his electric car. He's filled it up like 3 times in 9 months.
Yeah, he does the hybrid thing.
Yeah.
We're going to either get a hybrid or an electric car next.
Well, I'm hoping I'm not buying another car this decade. So if I'm right, I might.
This decade?
Yeah.
When did you buy your car?
4 years ago.
Wow.
2018. Yeah. I'm just gas and oil this sucker. I don't drive much.
Hey, I'll say this, though. They're coming out with a Ford F-150 that is all electric. And it looks incredible. And apparently the thing that they're using to sell it is that it can power up a home for 3 days.
Yeah, I need to be convinced there are enough places that I can stop and charge.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Bonus hour, Miller and Moulton, first Thursday of June. 13 weeks from tonight, the college football season gets underway, so that's 91 days. 14 weeks from tonight, Bills in Los Angeles to face the Rams to kick off the 2022 NFL season, so that's 98 days away. Then there's those of you that count preseason games. You'll count that last Saturday in August, week 0. That makes you number 86. So you know what we're getting at here. You know, you can see it from here. You can begin to see it at the end of the horizon.
I mean, you've got to squint.
Yeah.
You got to pull the cap down or put
Right.
your hands up over your eyes, but
Right.
you can see it.
You're not quite sure. Is that land? Is that land? Or am I just imagining it? But it's there. That's what we're saying. It's there. No triple digits anymore. It's all double digits from here. We can do this. We got a holiday to get through. 2 months or so away from seeing helmets and shoulder pads, even though it's all meaningless except for the injuries. How about Aaron Rodgers? Forget the match. You and I didn't watch a shot of it. We had no interest in it. And if you did, hey, you know,
More power to
yeah,
you.
not judging at all. We just didn't think it'd be
We're
good
judging,
golf.
We're judging a little.
No, we just didn't think it'd be good golf. Like we both said, if it was a pro and one of the star quarterbacks, yeah, okay. Well, you know, come on. I mean, it's tough to expect good golf from 4 non-golfers. That's all. Or professional golfers anyway. But how about Rodgers during an interview saying, yeah, I can see the end from here. Gets harder every year. Playing, that's the easy part. Everything else, and that's what Favre talked about. It's what Aikman talked about. It wasn't necessarily the playing. It was the everything else, which is difficult for us, mere mortals, non-professional athletes to understand.
I don't know. I mean, you and I have what they call a little bit of a weight problem. And every time we try to get in shape and don't do it in 2 days and go, this is hard. So imagine being an elite athlete and having to work the entire offseason to stay at that level. I can understand it completely because this is not the football of the 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s where you could show up at camp and work your way into shape. This is a year-round, full-time, keep your body in perfect health and shape. I can see where at some point they just don't want to anymore.
Well, then Rodgers, I thought, was giving the impression that it's the mental strain. It's just being, you know, and Troy said it. He's been on our show 3 times. The one time he was on our show and we asked him about leadership, and he talked about how Brady's the best leader he's ever seen, and that you have no idea how hard it is to be the leader of a team. That when you're the leader of a team, you need to lead the entire team, not just your side of the ball. And he said it takes a lot of effort to get to know everybody to the point where everybody in the room thinks you care about them. You know, you and I are hockey guys. You know, that was Messier. That was Iserman. Legendary leaders in which everyone in the room, I heard a guy talking about it last night. He said I was a role player on the team. Messier made me feel as if my role was every bit as important as his.
And think about that. That's 20 people in a hockey locker room. In a football locker room, you got 53 guys. You got a total different side of the ball that you have nothing to do with, but yet they look at you for leadership.
Right. And Troy just talked about, he goes, it's tiring. He goes, and I know what you're thinking when you hear me say things like that. He goes, but I'm telling you, because the question that we asked was, hey, you know, you were pretty good at this whole quarterbacking thing. So when you're talking about someone like Brady, I mean, what is it that he does that actually impresses you? I mean, because you could argue that Brady doesn't throw the ball better than Aikman. I mean, you know, Aikman threw a beautiful ball, completed like 70% of his passes. For his time, he was as accurate as you could be. So when we asked him, and he was like, it's his leadership. And I think at first you and I looked at one another like, what the heck? And then he gave a lengthy answer explaining it. And you begin to go, oh, wow. So that's what you guys are talking about. You know, I told the story when I was in Binghamton, and they were the AAA affiliate, the AHL of the Rangers at the time. And a first line center in Binghamton gets called up, and he's going to play a handful of games, maybe. Brian McReynolds was his name, and he's going to play for the New York Rangers. And Messier was the captain. And when McReynolds showed up in the locker room for the first time, there were two of the highest end suits waiting for him in his locker. Messier paid for him, had gotten his measurements, had him waiting in the locker, and greeted him when he walked in.
And that's what you hear about Brady, is that he knows everybody at camp. Makes a point to meet everybody at camp. Makes a point to try to spend some time as camp goes on with them. And that's it. And think about that. I mean, he's 45 flipping years old.
He's got a wife. He's 3 kids. You know, I'm Tom Brady. I could big time all of you. You know, at this point, you got to follow me. Right. And so, you know, and Troy said during that answer, he goes, you know, that was the biggest. He goes, everybody thinks I retired because of injuries. He goes, the other thing he said in that answer was, he said, trust me, my back was bothering me more than any concussion. He goes, but it's just the weight of being the leader of the organization. He goes, it wore me down. It wore me out. And that is something that I think those of us not in the arena, to borrow a phrase from Brady, that I do think it's difficult for us to understand. And I thought that that's some of what Rodgers was talking about yesterday. You know, I mean, Favre was just open about it the first time he retired. I mean, he was crying at his presser, and he basically was saying, you know, the weight of being the franchise quarterback here in Green Bay is a pretty big weight. And it's a small town. We're everything. And trust me, I feel it.
And we'll see, you know, I'll be interested to see on that note from a leadership standpoint, because Russell Wilson's been, I've never heard people giving Russ accolades of being a leader, ever. I've heard great quarterback, all the great things about his game.
Right.
But you don't hear he's a great leader out of people.
Well, certainly not from that Seahawks defense. You didn't hear it.
Well, I wonder what happens in Denver this year. I really do.
Where he needs to be the guy.
Absolutely. That's
They
a
need a
younger
leader.
team
Yep.
that desperately needs a leader.
No
And if
Von
they have a
Miller on the
leader,
other side.
They can all of a sudden become a real team in that division really quickly, David.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a great point. No Von Miller on the other side. He does have to step in and be the guy right away.
I mean, even if Matthew Stafford doesn't win the last game, his leadership was never questioned when he went to LA. The guys in Detroit would have killed for him. He played through injury. He played in so many games where he was banged up and did things and came back. So he had that. So he went into LA. I don't think there was ever a doubt that Matt Stafford was not the leader of that team last year. Maybe that couple game stretch where they started slipping a little bit, that there was put in question. But for by and large, he was the leader of that team last year. Can Russ do the same thing in Denver from day one? Both really tough divisions. Arguably the toughest on each side. So I am very curious what Russell Wilson does this year with Denver, just based on our conversation about the leadership side of things.
And there are other leaders who may not be as good as these all-time greats that we're mentioning here, that with their teams, and therefore they may not achieve what these all-time greats are making their teams achieve, but in those rooms and in those cities, they are recognized as every bit the leader as some of the people that we are referencing. So, but I thought Rodgers' comments were interesting because I don't know about you, but when he signed this extension here, I mean, I'm thinking he's going to play most of it. You know, like when Brady said, I'm going to play to 45. At first we laughed, but then once he crosses into his 40s and he's signing a contract that literally ends when he's 45, we all looked at one another and went, I guess the guy's playing until he's 45. And that's why when he walked away for an hour there at 44, we all went, huh. So I assume that, Rogers almost made it sound yesterday like, I don't know, man. This year, we'll see how this year goes. I might be done. So, whoa, hey, hold on a second.
Well, it is tough to believe much that comes out of his mouth when it comes to when he's going to be done and not play. I mean, you like yourself a diva receiver. He's a diva quarterback.
Yes.
And he really and truly is a diva quarterback. And I don't know how much you want to get down the road with diva quarterbacks, but I don't know if I buy half of what he says. He loves the microphone. He loves to be a little strange, if you will. I think he relishes the role that he's in life. I think he's having fun with being just a little off.
What do you think about the Miguel Angel Jimenez little hair thing he had going last night? Did you see any of the highlights?
Well, he pretty much, is it man bun or ponytail? Which was he going with? Because it's either one or the other.
I thought it was more ponytail than man bun last night because it was, I don't know, because a little lower. All right.
Look it. I always wanted, my hair does not grow long. My hair grows out.
Right.
It's bad.
Right. You can get the poofy sides.
Right.
But you can't get it to go down in the back.
And then it flips in the back. It's got a little curl to it. It looks just awful. So any guy that can pull off long hair, I'm all for it.
So you're good with it?
I'm fine with it.
Because I would have been tempted to walk up to him last night and go, hello, Miguel. And when he looked at me strange and go, you're the most interesting man in the world. And see if he got it.
Yeah, I've got no problem. You want to go long ponytail, short ponytail, man bun? I'm really not the guy that's going to give you a lot of grief because I can't grow the hair.
All
like
right.
Felipe could do just about any damn thing he wanted with that mop.
Yeah, and he showed it last, 3 weeks ago there when it was long. I just have a question. Ponytail to me comes out the back at the bottom. Man bun.
Yeah, you got it
pull
right.
that thing, it's more up
Up
towards
top.
where your bald spot would be.
Correct.
Right. So, yeah.
Great shield for the bald spot.
Well, that is true. That is true. Miller and Moulton. So I'm glad at least I got that out of this show. The difference between a ponytail and a man bun. At least had it confirmed. That, and apparently people who drive pickups are blankety blanks. Another thing I didn't know. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening. Mark, we're playing golf.
Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com to sign up now.
I'd like to thank Budweiser, Twin Peaks, and Southwest Florida Golf Carts. Got some good stuff there. flgolfcarts.com.
Where are you going to go? floridasportsnetwork.com. Sign up for our tournament Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Your golf will include your foursome and a chance to have lunch and awards after.
Sign up at floridasportsnetwork.com.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So this is what I get. And my reaction is they're ugly. Like, I can't say that. What do you think? Cute or ugly?
Cute kid. That's what I see. Adorable.
Right.
That's-
I know what my
that's-
response is going to be.
That's all
The
I
pants.
go with. Yeah.
The pants.
Look at these cute little pants.
Yeah.
I would respond, or is that the blue dress or the black dress?
Okay.
but I don't know if they'd get my joke.
Right.
Either for your wife, I might say, do you what's that? What are those sketches when you show the picture? What is this picture?
No, I was just going to say, are those pants or a Rorschach test?
Thank you, Rorschach
That's
test.
exactly what I was
Rorschach
going to
test.
text them. Oh my God.
Yeah, we haven't done a show together for 15 years.
I don't know how to spell it. So
Rorschach.
S
Rorschach.
Those pants are a Rorschach test.
Voodoo man, you're right.
God, my water's off. So I had no ice this morning, but I had I got all my big ice cubes for my drinks.
I love us. We are assholes, and I love it. I'm sorry.
So I've got these big plastic ice trays for my big ice cubes for my bourbon. Well, all the ice was about half melted, so I had no ice this morning. So I'm like, I've actually saved them. So if I have parties, a couple bags, I just fill ice cubes. I'm like, and I had a Tupperware thing. I'm like, it's all water, it's cold, and it's got freezer burn. I'm drinking freezer burned water all morning. It's just awful. But it's really cold, so I can get through it.
I mean, come on. What does she expect from her father? I'm the guy at the first wedding that said that he's going to make a great first husband. I mean, what does she expect? I love the fact we were thinking the same damn thing. Those pants are a Rorschach test. Deadstruck, I'm with you there. I spent like a good 15 to 20 years of my life in which I was the guy who helped everybody move. And I think it was just because of the industry that I was in. People got jobs all the time.
I did it in this. I did it in hockey. Radio people come,
Yeah.
especially when you're younger. So you're moving. And I helped Delosier move. I think he helped me move twice. I helped him move 3 times.
I mean, I did it into my 40s. But I'll say this, I stopped for about 10 years and then had to take the daughter to college. It's like, I haven't moved anybody in a while. I haven't gone up steps with a dresser in a while.
Oh.
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. Florida Sports Network. Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When. You didn't forget, did you?
I did until I woke up this morning. I went, oh, crap. I got extra work to do before I even head to the office.
So Mark is taking it back.
And in fact, you can, on Twitch, you can see how one looks versus how the other looks.
Right. Nothing wrong with a little pig Latin here and some cross outs and some arrows.
David saves paper. He gets everything on one.
Right, front and back. Absolutely.
I hit print.
Yes, you do. Do you believe that DJ got 125 million?
No.
So you don't believe the report that came out yesterday that the Saudi golf series there?
I think it could be half that. I think part of the ploy of what they're doing is inflating these numbers to try to attract themselves to more players, to just keep their name out there, put these ungodly sums of money out there. DJ for 125 million? Really?
I will say this, though. Imagine that first field without him.
All right. I'm imagining it without him. Now I'm imagining it with him. Oh, am I on the first tee?
Come on now. He's not your guy. But just from a marketability standpoint, from a gravitas standpoint, because most people...
How much more are you going to watch because Dustin Johnson's in this than because he's not?
Well, and I don't know how many people will watch. And I guess the word is they're going to do like YouTube and Facebook, and apparently they've got deals internationally, but I don't think they have anything in the States. So I have no idea how many people are going to watch this. But I also think from a cover standpoint, I mean, let's face it, they're recruiting guys. I mean, maybe amongst the guys. I mean, because he's 13th in the world, but from a status standpoint, he's better than that.
He is.
I mean, you know, cut
he's
in
one of
close
the top,
to half.
I was going to say one of the top 5 names out
Yeah.
there. I am not a DJ guy, but I at least have to acknowledge the fact he's a supremely talented golfer, and he's won majors. He's a name. I get it.
And so I think he gives...
I didn't know the Canadian Open was going to be in London, Ontario.
I didn't realize the C in RBC was Canadian. Right. I know. A lot of jokes here. I got it.
Why does the Royal Bank of Cameroon not want to sponsor me anymore?
Oh, we got to move on. U.S. Women's Open and Memorial gets underway today while we're on golf, so they're already underway.
What I'm most interested in is that there are 3 players in the Memorial field that are playing next week in the LIV Open.
Right.
I really hope all of them make the cut, and I hope one of them is contending, David.
It'd be funny if Jack would have to pass the trophy to one of those 3.
It really would be something.
Did you see what the head of the PGA of America and the USGA both came out and said, basically, we're going to have to think about this as to whether or not they're going to ban the players who are making the jump, who are now going to be banned for the PGA Tour. I mean, the commissioner doubled down on it yesterday. He said there's no room to play both. You're playing one or the other. So I'm assuming this is going to be a multi-month suspension at the very least. We figured take it through the Tour Championship so that you can't qualify for the cash grab in September.
And I'd said 3 months, which takes him right up to that. David made the point that DJ might already be qualified for the top 125 based where he is. I can't let him in my cash grab now. I can't let you in 2 cash grabs.
I mean, I think DJ could not play another PGA Tour event this year and make it to the second of the 3 Tour Championship tournaments. Yeah, and you're right. If you're the PGA Tour, you can't have that.
Now, the USGA is a totally different ballgame. If they're going to try to uphold the same suspensions of the PGA Tour, then the lawsuits are coming fast and furious. You can't keep them out of the U.S. Open.
Well, you do not have to be an active member of the PGA Tour to play in the U.S. Open. First off, amateurs play in it, but, you know, club pros qualify. Just guys from the Korn Ferry Tour qualify.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, status on the PGA Tour has nothing to do with playing in the British or U.S. Opens.
Right.
PGA of America is interesting. Also because they control the Ryder Cup. And DJ is still a guy that you would want on your Ryder Cup team and who would qualify every time for the Ryder Cup team. I mean, he's 37. I mean, DJ's still a couple of turns here. I mean, he would qualify for 2023, probably qualify for 2025, but at least we're thinking he would be still a good enough golfer where he would be an immediate captain's pick. I think you got to start getting into 27 and beyond, in which maybe we'll see where his game is like when he's 42 or so years old. Will they, does this disqualify you now from playing in the Ryder Cup?
Based on how their points are, it will.
But you could be a captain's pick.
Good luck with that. I mean, the PGA Tour is going to select someone to be. I mean, I know it's not the PGA Tour,
right?
But
PGA of America. Well, but they would have to see. Think about this. Can you describe? To me, you're eligible for the Ryder Cup if you're eligible to play in the PGA Championship. There is nothing in their bylaws now that says you have to be an active member of the PGA Tour to play in the PGA Championship. I mean, you got 20 club pros who just played in the damn thing. You had a couple of amateurs who played in the darn thing. You got guys who are only European Tour and Asian Tour players who are in the PGA Championship. So they would have to change their bylaws. They would have to Pete Rose Dustin Johnson. After the fact, they would have to change their bylaws and say, I know you thought you could play in the PGA Championship, especially since you won the Masters in 2020 and it gives you a 5-year
automatic exemption.
Right. But don't know what to tell you. We're changing the rules. You're screwed.
But just because you play in the PGA Championship, and I know that makes, but the Ryder Cup without the points, it's a captain's pick, and they could be telling the captains ahead of time. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but well, who are you thinking for your captain's picks? Well, I'm thinking Dustin Johnson. Okay, well, you're no longer being considered for a captain.
Well, and Zach Johnson, I believe, has already been named captain.
But you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you're saying, but the other thing is, they want to win this thing. And it's over in Europe. They haven't won over there in 30 years. Dustin Johnson would help you win. Come on now. Even if he's just going to play the majors in the LIV tournament, if he only plays 12, 15 tournaments between now and the 2023 Ryder Cup, I mean, come on now. If you're trying to win the damn Ryder Cup, you're picking Dustin Johnson.
We'll see. I'll go back to my standard with that one because I think you're on to something here. I think this LIV tour, you've kissed the PGA Tour goodbye, and you're basically saying I'm not playing in the Ryder Cup or President's Cup anymore.
And I don't think they care about the President's Cup. I actually think that's a load off their shoulders. Great. I don't have to deal with that obligation, which only makes my season longer, and I don't want to do it anyway. But I think the Ryder Cup's different.
Totally. I know it is.
The other thing is, I mean, let's be honest. Dustin Johnson would have been a captain. Not saying he would have been the, greatest gregarious personality as a captain, but come on now. If Zach Johnson and Steve Stricker are being named captain.
We're playing 4-ball. We only use 1 ball. I don't get it.
Here we go. I don't think you're ever going to run out of DJ material, are you?
Nope. Gift that keeps on giving, David.
Oh, my goodness. Miller and Moulton. Good, bad, and ugly. Today was the day when, what's on tap, all that sort of thing. It's coming up next.
Miller and Moulton on the LIV Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Mark, we're playing golf.
Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com to sign up now.
I'd like to thank Budweiser, Twin Peaks, and Southwest Florida Golf Carts. Got some good stuff there. FLGolfCarts.com.
Where are you going to go? FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Sign up for our tournament Saturday, June 11th, a scramble at the West Bay Club in Estero. Your golf will include your foursome and a chance to have lunch and awards after.
Sign up at FloridaSportsNetwork.com.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Years from now, he still transcended the game. Steph. That's not going to go away with time, if you know what I mean.
I don't think so. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know what a Rorschach test was.
Joke's a lot funnier if you knew what it was.
Yep.
Huh? You talking to me?
No, voice text.
Yeah, the word came out late yesterday. 59, I think. I don't think he had turned 60.
What's that?
Remember Bart and Brad Bryant? Well, I think it was Bart Bryant who, in Orlando, was stopped and got rear-ended by a truck going 60 miles an hour, and he died. He was the driver. His wife was the passenger. She's lived.
So I'm not playing this intro.
No, because says it's me.
I'll mute it and then I'll play the music.
Right. The only way to play the intro is if you play like 8 seconds of it and then you literally play the record scratch sound. You would pot it down and play the record scratch, kind of like, we're editing this. Zzz. So, no. The best thing to do is just not play it. Play music and we'll go into it.
Facts.
Canada Relief thinks your DJ sounds like Andre the Giant.
That's fine.
Yeah, he picked up his first win at 41. So now the daughter's trying to come back at me. So, what did it say about you, Dad? Meaning the Rorschach test. Told her, nice try, late to the party. Like ESPN's BPI for tonight, Celtics 60%.
There was not a lot of June 2 was not a big day.
Can't imagine it is. Sports or history.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour. The home stretch of Miller and Moulton on this Tuesday, the 2nd of June. 91 and 98 days away from the start of the college and pro football seasons, respectively.
Feel like a middle reliever right now, David.
In what way?
Well, you started this thing. You know, since in this act, today was a day when.
In this act, yes.
And now I just feel like I'm coming in like the 5th inning and picking it up where you left off.
Well, that's good. You'll get credit for the win then. I didn't go the minimum.
So it's time now for that today was a day when thing. We got to write a new open because this is the first day of me doing it instead of David doing it. And
we got to get Vicky to come up with something sultry about you.
1835 is where we start today, David. P.T. Barnum and his circus began their first tour of the United States. 1883, the Chicago L opens to traffic. 1924, President Calvin Coolidge signs the Indian Citizenship Act, declaring all Native Americans to be American citizens.
I'd hope so. No offense. Probably should have been done in reverse, but
kind of, sort of.
Never mind.
While Calvin Coolidge did that in 24, 9 years later, FDR authorizes the first swimming pool built inside the White House. 1935, Babe Ruth announces his retirement as a player at 40 years of age. 42, Teddy Williams enlists in the U.S. Navy. It was today, David, in 1953, that was the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II.
So she is beginning her 70th year. 70th.
Two little baseball notes for you that I found to be just fun factoids. Both happened today in 1958. The first is Whitey Ford fans 6 in a row to tie an AL record. The second is Brooks Robinson hits into his first of a record 4 triple plays.
Not fleet of foot was Brooks.
62, French All-Australian final Rod Laver would win. This would be his second leg of his first Grand Slam.
62 and 69, Laver won the Grand Slam.
Also in 62, Ray Charles's cover of I Can't Stop Loving You from the album Modern Sounds in Country and Western Music hits #1 on Billboard. 1967, the Beatles released Sgt. Pepper's in the U.S. It was the first time the Beatles would release an identical album with the same track listings in both the United States and the UK.
Did fairly well in both places.
Yeah, #1 in both. Imagine that. 1973, Margaret Court would win her 5th and last French Open title, defeating Chrissy Evert, the American teenager, in 3 sets. After that, I heard Chrissy do pretty well at the French.
Yeah, only 5 players ever beat her on clay.
Today in 77, David, New Jersey allows gambling casinos in Atlantic City.
Was a BFD, Mark. I was 11 years old. It was going to transform Atlantic City.
It was. I mean, they opened the news, like the 6:30 national news. That was an A-block story.
And I will say, in the 80s, I mean, there were a lot of Atlantic City got fights.
Yes.
Tyson Spinks, I think, was in AC. I mean, and Trump Trump spent the money, brought him to, he had a couple of casinos, 2 or 3 he had on the boardwalk.
That was one big day. A year later, also a big day in Jersey, David, because Springsteen would release Darkness on the Edge of Town.
Damn right.
1981, Barbara Walters famously asked Katharine Hepburn, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? 87, the Mariners draft Junior first overall. 89, Dead Poets Society premieres.
It's a good movie.
Very good movie.
Really good movie.
96, Annika retains her title at the U.S. Women Opens by winning by 6. 2002, The Wire debuts on HBO.
My mother loved The Wire.
That's on my list. I've never seen it. That's on the short list of next shows I'm going to watch. Better Call Saul's up right now. The Wire may be coming in after that. 2004, Ken Jennings begins his 74-game winning streak on Jeopardy. 2017, Wonder Woman earns over $100 million in its opening weekend, which was a domestic record for a female director. If you were born today, you share your birthdays with the following. Marquise de Sade, born today in 1740 in France. Swimmer and actor Johnny Weissmuller, born today. Charlie Sifford, first African-American to join the PGA Tour, born today in 1922. The late, great Charlie Watts, drummer from the Stones, born in 41. Gary Yepremian, born today in 1944. All I can think of is the throw.
Would have been a shutout in the Super Bowl, and we've yet to have one.
Also born in 44, Marvin Hamlich. He was the composer that did The Entertainer, The Sting, many other.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
his
the
body
list,
of work.
the list has
Right.
lists, right? 1948, Jerry Mathers as the Beaver was born. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, born today in 1952. The Walrus, Craig Stadler, a year later. Dana Carvey, born in 55. Wrestler Lex Luger in 58. Kyle Petty is 62 years old today. Russ Courtnall's 57. Deontay Jones is 37. Amy Wambach is, or that's 47 actually. Amy Wambach is 42 years old today. And that, David, is today was the day when.
Hold on a second. Bettman's 70?
Yeah.
And Dana Carvey, 67?
That's correct.
Huh. I think they both look younger.
Totally.
I think Gary Bettman looks actually great for 70.
Been dyeing that hair for so long. How could you even
I
tell?
know, but he does a pretty good job. You know, the dye, the coloring, it's not too dark. All right. He's figured it out where, yeah, you know, he's dyeing his hair, but it's not jet black or it's not, you know, too red. It's
not leaking on his suit.
Yeah. You know, doesn't have to worry about going outside in the rain. Right.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Well, we go to just right here in our backyard in Fort Myers, where Madison Klingler had a little secret for the past 3 years. She was at the University of Miami. Her friends wondered why she was never at tailgates, sporting events. She finally was able to give the true reason, because for the past 3 years, she was Sebastian the Ibis, the first woman to portray the mascot in more than 40 years at the University of Miami. I didn't see, and this article didn't have it, of how they let her find out. Michigan State does the same thing. And I saw, just following on Twitter, they let those that are Sparty wear the Sparty boots at graduation to reveal who they are.
That's cool.
For the Naples, David, where there is bunny dumping going on.
Excuse me.
We have a problem. The Naples neighborhood is a little upset finding more than 50 white domesticated rabbits in their front yard earlier this week. Chelsea McKee is a Naples resident and a volunteer with the Southwest Florida House Rabbit Rescue, David. Apparently, a lot of people give rabbits as Easter gifts. And then they realize that they're a pain in the you-know-what. And then they just let the rabbits go. You know what rabbits do? They do rabbit.
Right.
Apparently, now they're dumping them in neighborhoods all over Naples. If you have a rabbit you want to get rid of, call the Southwest Florida House Rabbit Rescue. Finally, the ugly. We go to Cape Coral, where some parents are not too happy about a country music station taking an advertisement inside the Ida Baker High School's yearbook. They used fake names over the ad of their radio station that are a little provocative, to say the very least, very sexually suggestive. And they're advertising for a country radio station. Did I say it was in a high school yearbook? So where they have the provocative names, you can find the ad. I won't bother to read them. Little inappropriate, more inappropriate for a company to put that in a high school yearbook. But then again, I can't say I'm all that surprised. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, June the 2nd, 2022.
Warriors 3.5 point favorites tonight. The over-under's 212.5. Basically, that means 108, 104.5. Obviously, you can't have the half, but you know what I'm saying. So Vegas right now is laying the gauntlet down at 108, 105 Golden State. Which way you leaning?
I will take Golden State. I will lay the points and take the over.
I will lay the points and take the under. ESPN's BPI gives Boston a 60% chance of winning the game today and an 85% chance of winning the series. Their analytics love the Celtics. Meanwhile, Vegas has Golden State at minus 150, I believe, to win the series.
You know, Vegas hasn't gone all analytics yet, apparently.
No?
Because they've got pretty hefty odds. What is it, plus 150? Or minus 150, rather, for
minus
the Warriors
150, yep.
to win the series?
Now, granted, Vegas is just following the money, but Vegas does kind of set the bar where they think the money is going to be. And occasionally the money moves the bar one way or the other. Hockey tonight, a little bit of money coming in on Edmonton because Colorado was minus 180. Now they're minus 175. Game 2 in Colorado, Avs and Oilers.
I think Colorado is just plain old better, David. And I think they get it done tonight at home. I don't think they're going to be as bad defensively. And I like Colorado.
I do think they're better, but I like Edmonton tonight. Colorado has to prove to me they can tighten up defensively. They have not done that in these playoffs.
Very fair statement. I mean, you go back to the St. Louis series, letting the Blues back in a couple of games. There should be the over-under it's actually dropped to 7, and it was 7.5 when the show started on my phone, but now it's at 7.
Over.
Yeah.
Over. I think the winner will score 5 goals in every game in this series.
Some day baseball today. Rays are at the Rangers. 2:05 start for that one. Marlins, an early game out west, 6:40 for us against San Francisco. Angels and Yankees trying to get a double dip in today. First one at 1:05. Tigers and Twins, they've got an afternoon game as well, as do the White Sox and Blue Jays.
You pointed out something interesting off air during the show, how the Twins, who have a 5-game lead in the Central, have also been shut out 8 times. A stat that screams, wow, bad offensive team. Probably not a good team. No, actually, they're in first by 5.
It's a crazy stat.
And, I mean, they've scored, 7 less runs than the Yankees. So it's not like they're having trouble scoring runs. But gonna watch any of the Queen?
Not 1 second. I'm more interested in the match.
You know me, Mark. Meghan and Harry. They can't stand on the balcony with the Queen. They're not official royals. They don't make the cut. So they got to hang out in the house.
Which
somewhere.
I'd be fine with. No pomp and circumstance.
Totally.
Now you get to hang out in that house? You guys were banned from the balcony. You just got to hang out in the castle all day?
That, along with the disgraced son, with the sex scandal. So, yeah, he can't be on the balcony either because he's no longer a royal. So, Andrew, I think it is. So, yep.
Does he just go by Andy now? Can he be Andrew for all of that?
Supposedly he's the favorite son, though, even though the other one's going to become king. She likes him better.
Well, she's trying to outlive the oldest son.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, at this point, she's kind of like, listen, Chuck, I mean, took care of you as long as I can, but we might as well just hand this sucker down to William, don't you think?
Boy, talk about getting passed over.
So you think you can outlive me, huh? I'm beginning my 70th year on the monarchy. You know that? I'm kind of taking this thing seriously.
Chuck's like, I should have had this 20 years ago. Are you kidding me?
Come on, Ma. What do you say? You step down for old time's sake? No? Can I just ride the bike once?
Look at you. Meghan and Harry are back in London, and you
Totally
can't help yourself.
Apparently their popularity's at an all-time low. Like they care. All right. They're getting 20 million from Spotify to not make podcasts. Are you kidding me?
What a scam.
Don't have to deal with the tabloids. Hire their own security. Got nobody leaking dirt on them. I'm all in, Mark. All in. I love this stuff. This is the only time I watch Entertainment Tonight. My wife watches it every night. I ignore it. I go in another room. All right. The minute it's something about these two, I'm in. She wants to change the channel. I go, don't you dare.
I'm just hoping for a really good basketball game tonight.
I think we get it.
I just would like to see a really competitive game from start to finish.
I think we get it. I love the contrast in this series. I do. And I think it'll play out right away. And I do think Steph's going to have a hard time with Marcus Smart. A really hard time.
And it's just, to me, a matter, they switch off everybody. Can they get Curry away from him enough? And I think they'll be able to. It's why they picked him in the series.
Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. If you haven't, still a handful of foursomes available. Go to floridasportsnetwork.com and sign up. A week from Saturday, we're playing golf. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. David Moulton for Napa